26. Azumarill. Use Freezing Fist. Chinchou. Use Discharge. Li Ming and Chen Hong issued an attack order together. Chinchou and Azumarill, who came up from the rear, attacked while blocking Frogadier's evasion route from left to right. One pair of two still blocked from left to right so as not to escape. Then it can only be killed head-on. Nanfeng chuckled and raised his hand to command. Frogadier, cut. Frogadier's expression was as dignified and serious as a swordsman normal in a duel. In the face of Chinchou and Azumarill, who were charging at it, it was empty-handed and took the initiative to attack Azumarill. A dark blue figure flashed across the battlefield. Running in both directions, the distance between the two shortened extremely quickly. It's just a breath of time. Frogadier stepped on the ice and has already arrived in front of Azumarill, far exceeding the speed of the opponent, so that Frogadier can only avoid the fist full of frost power with a slight sideways, forward, staggered, cold and sharp kunai. Azumarill, the upper right shoulder blade is slashed diagonally to the lower left waist. If it weren't for the special protection mechanism of the Pokemon world, Azumarill would have been cut in half. On the side, Chinchou raised his two light bulbs and smashed them. Sparkling sparks, about to be printed on Frogadier's head. Two Pokemon, one left and one right. Even if Frogadier rushed towards Azumarill and killed rival, Chinchou's attack would not have any delay. Normally, in order to defeat Azumarill, this blow discharge, Frogadier is eat it. However, that is under normal circumstances, and it is only for ordinary Frogadier, and for Nanfeng's Frogadier, its real speed has not yet been shown. Quick attack. Just as Chinchou's discharge was about to hit, Frogadier's figure suddenly disappeared in Chinchou's eyes. It was nothing but a real disappearance, only for a split second that Frogadier was faster than Chinchou's eyes could capture. The crisp, slashing sound resounded through the West Lake, like a sharp blade cutting the cloth. A slash from the lower right to the upper left appeared on Chinchou's chest, almost cutting the lamp on his head in half. Advertisement in the eyes of all the audience, Frogadier, Azumarill, and Chinchou interlaced. And they spoke in English in the air with only a sharp cold light that could be caught by the naked eye. Afterwards, Frogadier stood behind the two Pokemons with a cold and solemn face in his hands with kunai in hand, just like a dashing swordsman who killed rival, then dashed his sword into the sheath. Crack. Chinchou and Azumarill collapsed. Frogadier's force is instantly full. Immediately, the surrounding audience was noisy. Damn it! What just happened? How did Chinchou and Azumarill collapse all of a sudden? Instant kill? I can see clearly, but why is this Frogadier so fast? 1-on-2, an instant kill. This Frogadier, Chinchou, and Azumarill are not at the same level of rival. Is this person really a student who just graduated from high school? Even more surprising should be the two parties, Li Ming and Chen Hong, rival. They opened their mouths wide and looked at Frogadier and their Pokemon lying on the ground in astonishment. For a time, they suspected that they were seeing a hallucination, but after rubbing their eyes and finding that their Pokemon was still lying on the ground, they could only accept this result. The Pokemon that you have carefully cultivated. Just watch the seconds so easily. 1 second, they still felt that the winning ticket was in their hands, and the next second they already lost? This reversal is simply not too exciting. Chinchou and Azumarill lost their ability to fight. Frogadier won. So the final winner is trainer Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu. The referee immediately announced the final result after being slightly surprised. Win-win? Li Xiaoyu's eyes widened. Her beautiful eyes looked at Frogadier in disbelief, and then fell on Nanfeng again, as if asking Nanfeng to explain to herself. Nanfeng shrugged. Of course, rival is not strong. Give it a chance. Li Xiaoyu looked at Nanfeng as if he knew Nanfeng again, and patted Nanfeng's shoulder hard. You can do it. You are so strong. Hey, vile plume. Keep your hands down. Nanfeng stared at her eyes and covered her shoulders. She didn't know what this girl was eating, but she was stronger than a boy and almost spit out what she ate. If it weren't for your beautiful looks, I'd have to wonder if you were a female Macamp hiding in the crowd. Advertisement. How can your Frogadier be so strong? Li Xiaoyu asked curiously. Its talent is good, plus I have cultivated it well, Nanfeng said honestly. Frogadier's talent is very good, not only in terms of individual value, but also his own talent in combat, which cannot be seen from the game panel. In addition, after thousands of battles, experience and ability are combined. Pokemon of the same level, except for Combuskin and Ralts of Nanfeng, few other Pokemon can compare with it. Li Xiaoyu nodded thoughtfully and wanted to ask some more questions, But Nanfeng didn't want to continue standing on the stage of the West Lake Arena to be watched like a monkey by others, so he quickly took back Pokemon and pulled her to the shore. Go first to receive the prize. After getting off the West Lake Arena, Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu received the reward from the official office of the West Lake Scenic Spot. A Pokemon egg named Finneon, and a carrying item Mystic Water that can increase the power of water skills by 20%. Finneon is a relatively rare Pokemon in the Dragon Kingdom, but the strength is normal. The price of Pokemon eggs is mostly around 100,000 in the market. The price of Mystic Water that increases the power of water skills by 20% is also about the same price. As for the two rewards, the allocation is up to the two trainers to decide for themselves. Which one do you want? You choose first, Li Xiaoyu Hideki said. Nanfeng was also welcome, and took the Mystic Water and brought it to Frogadier. If you want Finneon, you can grab it in the game. On the contrary, Frogadier has no props to use yet, and this Mystic Water came just in time. Then I'll have Finneon's Pokemon eggs. Li Xiaoyu was holding the hatching device with Finneon Pokemon eggs, and she was quite satisfied. Back to the West Lake. Minro and Yi Junlang both look like they've just met Nanfeng. Dude, didn't you say you want to take the Pokemon breeding major? Why are Pokemon battles so strong? Yi Junlang couldn't help asking. Who told you that Pokemon is a professional breeder and that Pokemon is not strong in battle? Nanfeng asked rhetorically. Yi Junlang was speechless. It is true that Pokemon breeding students can also be very strong in Pokemon battles, but they are a lot stronger than us Pokemon battle students. Isn't it a bit too strange? 27. The West Lake Arena is just an after-dinner pastime, and the rewards of Mystic Water can be regarded as a windfall. But Nanfeng wants to say that troubles such as after-dinner pastimes and windfalls can come once a day. Not only the loot and the gain of experience, Nanfeng's observation and familiarity with his own Pokemon are also very important during the battle. After all, it is difficult for Nanfeng to intuitively grasp the actual combat power of Pokemon if he only uses wild Pokemon to level up. In the battle between Frogadier and Chinchou and Azumarill, Nanfeng first felt the power of the esoteric cut mastered by Frogadier most intuitively. The level difference between Chinchou and Azumarill and Frogadier is not too big. Under normal circumstances, it is impossible to kill a Pokemon of the same level with a single cut. But Frogadier succeeded, and it was easy, and it seemed that there was still some energy left. In addition, Nanfeng can clearly see that Frogadier's movement speed has increased in the process of using Secret Cut. In game lingo, the priority of the skill is raised. Although there is no such obvious acceleration effect as Quick Attack with a priority of 1. But the Secret Cut with such power and effect can be said to be a magical skill. Satisfaction with the Esoteric Cut also made Nanfeng have some expectations for the other 7 esoteric skills. He already has a flash technique that can become a secret skill, but he has to defeat the Dufour Gym first. After lunch, farewell to Li Xiaoyu and others. Nanfeng returned to the hotel and continued to level up Ralts. If you want to challenge the Dufour Gym of the fighting department, Ralts of the psychic department is the key. In one night, Nanfeng raised Ralts to level 20, and finally, it evolved into Kirlia. Kirlia, Psychic, Fairy, Flash, level 20 ability, Synchronization. When other Pokemon cause burn, poison, toxic, and paralysis to itself, they will cause the same status condition to that Pokemon. Individual values: Stamina, 31, Attack, 31, Special Attack, 31, Defense, 31, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 31, Skills: Disarming Voice, Growl, Double Team, Confusion, Draining Kiss, Teleport, Psybeam. Carrying items. Kirlia is already different from Ralts, who is a shy little girl. She is wearing a white ballet costume, with her toes slightly raised and her hands on her waist. Like a ballet dancer, she is elegant and beautiful. The most eye-catching is her beautiful head. Brunette. Advertisement Milu? Kirlia blushed and saluted. Well, the shy personality hasn't changed at all. Nanfeng rubbed his head affectionately. As a result, all members are level 20. Achieved Nanfeng's preliminary goal to challenge Dufour Gym again. Putting down the handheld, Nanfeng slept comfortably all night. The next day, I got up and had a good breakfast, and then decided to set off for the martial arts gym. However, as soon as he entered the gym, Nanfeng discovered a rather peculiar thing. The apprentices of Dufour Gym, who had already defeated Dufour Gym last time, challenged Nanfeng again. Nanfeng is naturally open to anyone who comes. The weak can only become Nanfeng's experience and money. But this strange situation made Nanfeng have some associations. Can the defeated NPCs be able to fight again? or only the gym NPCs, or the gym NPCs who have not defeated the gym owner can be defeated repeatedly? Woolen cloth. Only here can't get the answer first, so I still have to wait for my Do4 gym to confirm it. It was rumored that he had once again killed him in front of Tungshu, the master of the Do4 gym. Nanfeng ran back to the Pokemon Center for treatment again, and then came back to equip all the Pokemon items he should bring. Unlike the challenge to Rustboro Gym, Sakurako with the paralysis reliever has no meaning. Nanfeng brings Black Belt from Flash Makuhita to Combuskin. Frogadier and Kirlia are Mystic Water and Quick Claw configurations. Choosing to challenge the Vine Tree, the scenery in front of Nanfeng changed immediately. The luxurious hotel suite suddenly turned into a clean and bright dojo. 2 rows of disciples in white training suits sat cross-legged, each with their eyes closed, so quiet that they could hear the bird growl outside the window. The disciple was serious, but the master of the Do4 gym, Fujiki, was wearing blue shorts, black tights, and sunglasses. He looked like a beachy and athletic boy. It is estimated that I just came back from surf on the seaside of Duford Island. Trainer, welcome to your second challenge. I can see the fighting spirit in your eyes, but are you ready to face my irresistible waves? Advertisement. Tingshu was proud and unrestrained, standing in front of Nanfeng with his hands on his hips, and the strong breath rushed toward his face. As Fujiki said, Nanfeng has challenged him for the second time. Afraid of losing? That's not it. If you lose to you without losing money, you are afraid of shit. Just do it. Nanfeng has already picked up Pokeball. The referee begins to announce the rules of the fight. Trainer Nanfeng is now challenging Do4 Gym Master Vine Tree. There are 3 Pokemons available to both sides. There is no chance to exchange Pokemon. The battle ends when one of the trainers has no Pokemon available. The gym trainer sends the Pokemon first. Vine Tree plucked a Pokeball from his waist and threw it soaring in the sky. The Pokeball opened as it flew to its highest point, and a Meditite landed on the dojo. Meditite LV-24. And many more. Nanfeng's eyes narrowed. He clearly remembered that the Meditite level was 23 the last time he fought against him. How come it's level 24 now? Could it be that the Pokemon of the gym trainer will also level up over time? Still level up because of my Pokemon level up? Nanfeng recalled carefully not only the Vine Trees, but also the Pokemon who fought the apprentices of the Do4 gym just now seem to have improved to varying degrees. Now, obviously, it is impossible to get the answer at once. Nanfeng returned his attention to the confrontation in front of him. After a little thought, Nanfeng threw his first Pokeball. Milu. Kirlia appeared, fighting spirit high. Today's goal is to sweep the Do4 gym. 28. Kirlia. Seeing that rival was Kirlia, Fujiki frowned immediately. As a fighting gym, all his Pokemon are fighting. The fighting Pokemon is restrained by 3 attributes: Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. Kirlia is a Fairy plus superpower. Restraint and Restraint. Fighting-type moves are only a quarter of the damage to Kirlia. In nature, this is the natural enemy of fighting Pokemon. However, Rival is a Meditite, and the situation is slightly better for Fuji, and it will not be so miserable that it is restrained. And this battle may evolve into a psychic showdown. Are you afraid? Nanfeng took the initiative to taunt. Afraid? Fujiki couldn't help grinning as if he heard a big joke. Every challenger knows that I am a fighting gym trainer, and many of them use the same restraint fighting Pokemon as you. But how many people will be able to take the Do4 badge from me in the end? Instead, it was you. After I was defeated last time, you specially cultivated a Kirlia. So, are you afraid? The battle has not yet begun, and the 2 trainers have already started talking, using their own language to attack rival mentally. As for how much power it has, it depends on the next battle. Meditite and Kirlia also locked on their rivals with both eyes, and the smell of gunpowder inherited from their masters spread between the 2 Pokemons. The referee confirmed that the 2 sides were in place, and did not give the 2 sides much time to talk, and directly announced the battle begins. Meditite, Confusion. Kirlia, Confusion. Nanfeng and Tungshu almost gave their Pokemon the same order. Both Pokemon also burst out the confusion in their bodies in their own way. In an instant, there was a strange cracking sound in the air. 2 Pokemon Confusions were already colliding against the battlefield sky, but the collision only lasted for a second. Meditite's body was immediately propelled by Kirlia's Confusion, thrown soaring in the sky, and smashed to the ground. Once, twice, 3 times. Ralts' irritability did not evolve into Kirlia's cut, but intensified. Kirlia was not at all prepared to give Meditite another chance to stand up. As a trainer, Fujiki had no way to stop him, He could only watch his Metatype be smashed to the point of being incapacitated. Metatype incapacitated, Kirlia wins, the referee announced the result. Advertisement mill. Kirlia fell from the air. Her skirt moved slightly, and her face was cold as she looked down at Metatype on the ground. Fight with me, confusion? Do you have this capital? Do you understand the gold content of Queen Psychic? Oh, it looks like she's still a queen, Ninfeng said with a smile. She was a little girl like a ballerina, but her behavior was already a queen. Yes, very promising. Milu, perhaps she realized Nanfeng's thoughts. Kirlia suddenly turned into a lady again, holding the corners of her skirt with both hands, and greeted Nanfeng in the way of a ballet actor. It's not over yet. Fujiki saw Kirlia's curtain call. The blue veins on his forehead jumped, and he didn't take himself seriously. Raise your hand to throw the second pokeball. With a flash of silver light, a burly, muscular man fell to the battlefield. The Pokemon has not changed. It is still a Machoke, but the level has been increased from 26 to 27. Force. As soon as Machoke came on stage, he roared and his muscles trembled, then began to constantly swing bulk-up pose. What forest pose, stump pose, etc. I have to say, as gym trainers' Pokemon, they're better than breeders. This Mashoki's body shape is simply too perfect. If you can give yourself a breeder experience like Kinnan after defeating Fujiki, then it is not impossible to cultivate one more Super King. It's okay to be a substitute for Combuskin, who is also in the fighting department. But for Kirlia, Machoke, where is this little shrew coming from? Today's showdown is destined to be the show of the future Super Queen Kirlia. Machoke, use bulk up. Fujiki commanded. Machoke immediately clenched his fists with both hands, turned his back to the front, and put on a classic muscle show, his muscles bulging for a while. Different from those meaningless actions just now, the skill bulk up can increase the attack power and defense power of Pokemon. Meaningless behavior, Nanfeng expressed disdain. He was very clear about the idea of Fujishu. It is nothing more than wanting to resist the manipulation of confusion through the powerful power of Machoke. But he underestimated Kirlia. Kirlia is born with 6V and is Flash's daughter of destiny. For her, leapfrog combat is as simple as eating and drinking. Advertisement Kirlia, Encore, Confusion. Smiling Kirlia turned her head slowly, her face cold again. The whole body of confusion broke out again. The body took off with the confusion, and the white skirt flew because of the outbreak of the confusion. In the next second, the Machoke, who was still posing with a pose, was no different from Metatype, and it was even easier to be pulled into the air. Then, he lifted it up high and smashed it down heavily. Boom! There was an explosion, and the ground shook. Feeling the master's emotional contempt, it seems that Kirlia's action is a bit more ruthless than before. Power. Mashoki's feeble wailing made the apprentices watching the battle startled. To fight against a psychic Pokemon, being able to resist its confusion control is the minimum requirement. Otherwise, you are not even qualified to stand in front of it, so how can you fight it? Do the same thing. After 2 slams, Mashoki's eyes have turned into swirls. As a pure fighting Pokemon, psychic damage is double damage to it. So even if Mashoki's physique is much stronger than Metatype, it is still not as good as Metatype. Machoke is incapacitated. Kirlia wins, the referee quickly announced. The first 2 duels did not have any twists and turns at all. They were all one-sided massacres. Now, Vine has only one last Pokemon, and this will also be his last hope of victory. Raise your hand to throw the Pokeball. Please. The Pokeball opened at the highest point of the dojo, and the soaring in the sky of the dojo suddenly turned dark, and a strong sense of oppression came, as if a mountain was blocking the light of the sun. Boom! The mountain fell, and the entire dojo began to shake. I saw a humanoid Pokemon standing in the middle of the battlefield, with muscles like armor, legs like thick stones like grinding discs, and big palms that were enough to shoot tons of heavy objects. It is the sumo master among Pokemon, the Super King. It is also called Hariyama, but Nanfeng thinks the name Super Power King is more suitable for it. The Super Power King is Fujishu's trump card Pokemon and the iconic Pokemon, and it is also the evolution of Nanfeng's Makuhita in the warehouse curry. 29. I'm going to get serious and prepare for a huge wave of attacks. Fujiki looked at Nanfeng and raised his hand to command. Super King, use Fake Out. The huge body of LV-32 Super Power King immediately flew forward, and his big fan-like hands called towards Kirlia. In Nanfeng's view, the slap of the Super King alone is bigger than Kirlia's entire body. Would it be worth it if it was filmed? Fake Out is a normal type move, not a fighting type move, but it doesn't only take a quarter of damage. Fly and use Confusion on the Super King. Kirlia immediately relied on Confusion to lift off, and at the same time, Confusion exploded all over his body to suppress the Super King from top to bottom. Although Kirlia couldn't throw Solations as a sandbag like he grabbed Makoke. After all, this guy's weight might be equal to Mashoki's whole body strength, but he could still hinder his movement. Finding that he couldn't photograph Kirlia, the Super Power King still kept moving. If he couldn't fan Kirlia, he would fan it in the air. Crack! The air vibrated, and a gust of wind was shot by the Super Power King's hand. It really felt like a PU fan. The wind was like a knife, bringing a frenzy, and it rolled away towards Kirlia in midair. Teleport! Nanfeng didn't dare to be careless. As Fujiki said, as a gym of the fighting department, he accepts the challenges of trainers from all over the world. There are many challenges, and everyone will think of restraining the fighting department, but successfully taking Knuckle Badge from him is not. Many. Thinking of this, Fujiki must have his own strategy to deal with it. Kirlia's figure in midair suddenly flashed and disappeared in place, and behind Kirlia's position just now, there was a huge depression more than 3 meters long and wide on the ceiling. This effect can be used as gust and flying style moves, right? Nanfeng complained. Aura Sphere. Fujiki snorted softly. The Super Power King immediately grabbed his right hand, and a light blue ball of light the size of a basketball appeared in the palm of his hand. Nanfeng's eyelids jumped and he quickly commanded, Kirlia, Psybeam. It's a bit too unexpected that the Super King will have Aura Sphere. This means that the Super Power King is born with the talent of Waveguide power and has been tempered for a long time. Advertisement Aura Sphere comes with a special effect of sure hit. Any dodge is meaningless in front of it. Since he can't dodge, Nanfeng is ready to attack. See if you dare to fight me in a war of attrition. Kirlia put her hands on her chest, and the dark purple ripple light burst out immediately, bombarding the Super King straight. The Super King turned from a sumo wrestler to a baseball pitcher, with his eyes locked on Kirlia and his strong projection. For a moment, the sphere of light was as bright as the scorching sun, and the fly was like a stream of fire, coming in an instant. The two attacks staggered in midair. Neither Kirlia nor the Super King chose to collide with energy, but chose to attack rival directly. Bang! Bang! 2 explosions sounded at the same time. The Super King was repelled by Psybeam, and the Psychic-type moves dealt double damage to it. Even if the level gap reached 12, it was still impossible to get a glimpse. Kirlia was enveloped in the smoke from the explosion, but soon the smoke was forcibly dispersed by Confusion, revealing it intact. Fighting-type moves have only a quarter of damage to Kirlia, and the power of Aura Sphere in the game is full 80, but it is only 20 for it. Is this going to be tough? I'm very happy to accompany you, Nanfeng commanded with a chuckle. Psybeam. Kirlia put her hands on her chest and let out another Psybeam. Fujiki frowned. Aura Sphere didn't work as expected on Kirlia. Comparing the effects of the damage on both sides, he can be sure that the one who falls behind is definitely his Super Power King, not Kirlia, even if the Super Power King's physical strength is many times more than Kirlia's. But the opponent resisted 4 times, and he was injured twice. Wouldn't that equal to 8 times the gap? Although the Super King's physical strength is strong enough, is it 8 times more than Kirlia's? Obviously not. If you want to win, you have to switch tactics. Aura Sphere. Fujiki commanded. The Super King grabbed the light blue energy egg again and threw it out. This time, Aura Sphere and Psybeam collided, creating an explosion. Advertisement, change of thinking, war of attrition. Nanfeng was not afraid at all. Kirlia, use double team. Kirlia's figure in midair froze, changed from 1 to 7, and surrounded the Super Power King in the middle. Psybeam. 7 Kirlias put their hands on their chests in unison, and 7 Psybeam erupted at the same time. But only one was actually real. The Super King is simply impossible to guard against. Rest. With 2 Psybeam hits in a row, Fujiki wanted to use rest to recover his stamina, and finally hit struggle again. Kirlia doesn't have the Dream Eater skill, otherwise the Dream Eater can instantly kill the Super King of the sleeping contest condition. But it's the same. The Super Power King lying on the ground is a living target. Kirlia Psybeam bursts, still keeping the Super King awake before he wakes up. Super King loses his ability to fight. Kirlia wins. Gym trainer Fujiki has no Pokemon available, so the final winner is trainer Nanfeng. The scenery in front of him changed, and Nanfeng had returned to the luxury hotel. Fighting-type Pokemon encounters a Pokemon with both Fairy and Psychic types. It's a nightmare. Nanfeng summed up the battle. Looking down at the handheld. Defeat the Super King LV32. Gain experience 960. Kirlia level increased. The current level is 21E. Defeat the Do4 Gym Master Fujiki and get a bonus of 3,200 Tengshu. It seems that you are a monstrous wave even bigger than me. Vinetree. This is the proof of defeating Do4 Gym Knuckle Badge. After owning it, your flash technique will be upgraded to the real esoteric flash technique, Tengshu. In addition, this bulk up skill CD and my experience of breeder of fighting Pokemon will also be given to you. I also hope to meet you in future Pokemon tournaments. I will let you know then. To a wave that truly shakes the world. 30. Knuckle Badge. The power of all Pokemon fighting moves in the team is increased by 10%, and the Flash is upgraded to Secret Flash. Nan Feng took the Knuckle Badge into his pocket, and then began to review and test the changes after the Flash technique became esoteric. In the game, you can see the effect very intuitively. The effect of the Flash technique has not changed, and the hit rate of rival is still reduced, but it was lowered by 1 level before, but now it is lowered by 2 levels. Reality needs to be tested. Nan Feng used the secret legend, Flash for Kirlia, and then looked at Kirlia who was quietly nibbling on the orange berry. Mill? Using Flash, Milu, Kirlia put her hands on her chest, but was stopped by Nan Feng just as she was about to use it. I'll bring a pair of sunglasses first. Nan Feng pulled out the sunglasses from his bag, which allowed Kirlia to continue to use it. With a wave of Kirlia's hand, a ball of light the size of a football appeared, and for a while, the whole room seemed to have a sun with no temperature. It's so bright that people can't open their eyes, even if Nan Feng is wearing sunglasses now. This thing can be used as a flash in the future to make Kirlia reduce the brightness of the light. Nan Feng took off his sunglasses. Kirlia played with the ball of light with great interest, controlling it to flash and to emit different colors. The difference between esoteric flash and ordinary flash skills in reality lies in the control of persistence, brightness, and light color. How do you say there is no need to turn on the lights at home? Add a little more work, and you can dance at home in the future. Kirlia has been upgraded from a ballet actor to a nighttime female DJ with her own sparkling ball of lights. Compared to Secret Story Cut, the enhancement effect of Secret Story Flash seems to be of little significance. Flash is the only non-aggressive skill in a bunch of esoterics, though, and poor performance is forgivable. In addition to Secret Legend, Flash, Nan Feng also gained a bulk up, skill CD and Fujishi's breeder experience for his fighting Pokemon after defeating Fujiki in Do4 Gym. Bulk up skill, which increases attack and defense after using moves. Advertisement as a fighting Pokemon, you can learn from Combuskin. Reality is different from games. Buff skills such as Sword Dance, Dragon Dance, and other skills, in addition to having an augmentation effect after being turned on in battle, daily training of this move can also be permanently enhanced to a certain extent. This is the reason why Fujiki's Machoke has such a burly body. Open the breeder experience of the Vine Tree. The content is the same as Kinnon's breeder experience, which records the detailed breeder experience of the 3 Pokemon used in his battle with Nan Feng. Meditite, Machoke, and Super Power King. The first 2 Nan Feng are not very interested, mainly Super Power King, which can be used on his Makuhita. However, the experience of breeder of Meditite and Machoke, Nan Feng should also be read. Yesterday's exam happened to be the Nosepass breeder plan, which made Nan Feng realize that even if he doesn't need it, it's not a bad thing to learn a little more, whether it's doing consulting work for other people in the future, or using it in his own Pokemon by analogy. Body. Nan Feng picked up breeder's experience from Vine Tree and carefully examined it, and soon he found a very general technique from Meditite's breeder's experience. Fake Out plus Force Palm. The moment Fake Out hits rival, Force Palm is shot from the palm of your hand. This combination is not completely fixed. The real formula should be Contact Skills plus Force Palm. Force Palm is fixed, while Fake Out can be replaced with any skill. For example, you can apply it to Combuskin's Double Kick. The moment Combuskin kicked the opponent, he used the Force Palm move at the same time. Then you can bring out 2 levels of damage at the same time. Double Kick is a 4-stage damage. Of course, it's harder to hit a Force Palm from the leg than the arm, and it's even harder to hit the Force Palm while the leg hits the target. Combuskin wants to learn. I am afraid it is not so simple. Frogadier should be able to learn Force Palm too. So, Cut plus Force Palm? Isn't this the fact that Kanai hangs up the detonating talisman? If you don't believe me, close combat might blow yourself up too? Then, can I make this Force Palm quash? Then I have to wait for Frogadier to evolve into Greninja and learn Water Shuriken before thinking about it. Advertisement. Keep looking down. Meditite's breeder experience also includes training methods for Force Palm and Calm Mind. Different from the skill CD, which can directly let Pokemon master the move, What Fujiki wrote in Breeder's Experience is to let a Pokemon who does not know this kind of move learn it through special training. The training of Force Palm skills, Nanfeng decisively arranged for Combuskin and Frogadier. Carmine's training is also just right for Kirlia, which can help her enhance her confusion and special attack. After Meditite was Makoke, whose Breeder Experience documented the bulk-up training style. Arrangements for Combuskin and Frogadier, although Nanfeng does not know whether Frogadier can master bulk-up, but he does not require Frogadier to really practice the same as Makoke, as long as it improves. Finally, there is the Breeder Experience of Super King, which records the training methods of Aurasphere and Fake Out. Fake Out is not a big problem. If you can master the power of fighting, you can do it. The Aurasphere needs to be practiced from the Vacuum Wave skill, and must have the Waveguide Power talent to master it. Bird's Power Talent, one of 1,000 Pokemon possessions. Nanfeng doesn't know if Combuskin and Frogadier have it, so he can only say that he will try to practice. After reading the experience of Vingshu Breeder, Nanfeng took a breath. In this way, the gym's Pokemon Breeder experience is more valuable than the secret, gym badge, and skill CDs. Nanfeng hurriedly turned around and took out Kinnen's Pokemon experience, which he had briefly read before, and studied it carefully. Geodude's Breeder experience chronicles how Defense Curl and Rock Polish were trained. Onyx's Breeder takeaways documents the Rock Slide and Harden training styles. Breeder's take on Nosepass documents the training style of Thunder Wave. The 4 skills are not very useful to Nanfeng's current 3 Pokemon, but in the future, he will use them completely when he is Breeder Rock and Electric Pokemon. Collect all the 2 Breeder experiences. These things are all treasures. I went out to play in the morning. Today is the 2nd chapter, and there are 2 more chapters to be posted soon. 31. The Dufour Gym has been defeated. The Flash has become the Esoteric Flash, and the story can finally be pushed down. Nanfeng took Ralts into Granite Cave again. From the ground floor to the basement floor, the screen suddenly went black, and I couldn't see my fingers. It is much more rigorous than the Standard Emerald. In the Standard Emerald, you can also see the protagonist and the surrounding 2 grids of land. But where is the source of light underground? Open the Pokemon interface and select Kirlia to use Flash. Immediately, the entire Granite Cave was as bright as day. The game interface is completely normal. Controlling the protagonist to move forward and walking on the basement floor, Nanfeng picked up the props on the ground while looking for this staircase on the next floor. It only took 10 minutes for Nanfeng to find the head leading to the 2nd underground floor. Along the way, he picked up a Pokeball, an escape rope, and encountered a lot of Pokemon. The Pokemon on the basement floor are much richer than the Pokemon on the ground floor. In just 10 minutes, Nanfeng met Zubat, Onyx, Abra, Makahita, Sableye, Big Mouth Frog, and Aaron. Nanfeng Tisk. I knew that I was leveling in the dark on the basement floor when I was leveling earlier. Aaron's final evolution is Aggron, which is a very nice Pokemon. Terrible defense, extremely high attack. At first glance, it looks like an Orberg fortress. It is the combination of the steel and rock attributes that makes it 4 times weaker for fighting and 4 times weaker for ground. Once it encounters the Pokemon of these 2 attributes, Orberg becomes a paper skin. However, once the Mega evolves, the defensive end and the attacking end are strengthened again. Attribute returns to the pure steel system, and with the filtering ability, the 4 times of weakness disappears, and there is no weakness at all, and it is a properly walking weapon of war. Even Hoenn's previous champion, Steven, has a main Aggron. If a Flash Aaron is caught, Nanfeng will definitely cultivate it into a main Pokemon. Nanfeng took a sip of the Coke at the table. If you can't beat the 3rd gym, and there is no Pokemon you like nearby, then come back and play Aaron's Flash here. Nanfeng made up his mind and found a reason to convince himself. Kennen Pokemon's experience theirs, Rock Slide, and Harden in it. It's a waste if you don't use it. Along the way, the probability of Aaron's appearance is quite high, and it accounts for at least 4 times out of 10 wild Pokemon encounters. 40% probability, which is 10 times higher than the probability of Ralts. Ralts brushed for 7 days, so it brushed for 7 hours? You can also brush Abra, by the way. If Zubat, Sableye, and Big Mouth Frog come out, it is also acceptable. Sableye and Big Mouth Frog can also undergo Mega Evolution. The former is Evil and Ghost, and the latter is Fairy and Steel. The strength and resistance brought by attribute are very nice. Advertisement no. Think about it. I want to flash here even more. After the letter is delivered, I will be here for a few days to flash. Go down to the 2nd basement level of Granite Cave. The Pokemon species started to change again, and Nanfeng also encountered Onyx and Nosepass. I have reason to suspect that Kennen's Nosepass was caught here. Nan Feng rubbed his chin. Home's possessed. I don't know if it's in the anime or the manga. Kinnan and Fujiki happen to be a couple. Picked up a Pokemon item called Everstone on the central platform on the second basement floor. The effect of Everstone is to keep Pokemon from evolving. The trainer that uses it basically serves two purposes. The first is that some Pokemon can only comprehend certain special skills before they evolve, so they must rely on Everstone to suppress evolution and then remove Everstone after learning. The second is that some female trainers don't want their Pokemon evolution to be ugly and always bring Everstone to Pokemon. The most common examples are Teddy Ursa, Litten. Compared to Teddy Ursa and Litten, few girls will like Ursaring and the #1 Incineroar in the universe. It has been half an hour since I found the stairs leading to the depths on the second basement floor. Nan Feng finally met Steven. When he came, Steven was mining with his own Agron. Steven has a strong or collecting habit, and he threw the Hoenn region champion to Wallace in order to mine with peace of mind. Steven, young man, do you like mining too? When Steven saw Nan Feng in mud, it was like seeing a fellow man, and his spirit was shocked. Nan Feng, no, I'm here to send you a letter. Steven, send a letter? Steven took the letter in Nan Feng's hand and read it carefully before raising his head after a long while. Steven, thank you for your help. I really haven't been back for a long time. Advertisement. After saying thank you to Nan Feng, he left in a hurry. Thank you for a skill CD called Steel Wing. Steel Wing. Steel-type physical move, power 70, hit rate 90%, 10% chance to increase the user's defense by 1 level. Very nice skill. As expected of Steven, generous enough? Sending Mega Evolution Stones is a basic operation, and it is normal to send a copy of Steel Wing's skill CD. But please, Brother Steven, please give me a Mega Evolution Stone when we meet next time. Although Steel Wing is a Steel-type skill, basically only the Flying type can master this trick. Nan Feng doesn't have a flying Pokemon, so it's a warehouse item like Rock Tomb. Watching Steven go away, Nan Feng asked Kirlia to use Teleport. Immediately returned to the Pokemon Center on Dewford Island from the cave. After the treatment, Nan Feng went back to Rustboro City on the boat of Mr. Hatch and got a reward for delivering a letter from Steven's father, President Svki, a piece of EXP share. Steven received a thank you gift, and President Zvok received another thank you gift here. Do one thing, get $2, be happy. EXP share, an effect that allows the Pokemon equipped with it to share the experience of their own victors on the field. This thing is not very useful at present. My 3 Pokemons are very powerful, and they can all gain experience by defeating rival by themselves, and there is no need to ask other Pokemon to help fighting. If Nan Feng chose to capture Abra instead of Ralts at first, getting EXP share now is the beginning of leveling up Abra. However, you can save it until you catch a new Pokemon yourself to fight stronger monsters to boost it. For example, I flashed in Granite Cave for a while, and I got out of Abra and Aaron. What a beautiful thing this is. 32. After 3 days of battle at Granite Cave, none of the shiny Pokemon started. Nan Feng almost burst into tears. Because the exam was over, he didn't study at all. In addition to exercising himself for an hour these days, he was playing games and watching TV shows in the hotel room. Brush up to 15 hours a day and encounter nearly 1,000 Pokemon. Maybe I was able to capture Ralts and Makahita just because I was lucky enough, not because the probability was so high. Looking at the fat man in front of him, Nan Feng felt that he took it for granted. As high as 3 or 4 days, one can be produced, so it is not so valuable. Whether it's a game or reality, even the enthusiasm of Nan Feng's flashing has cooled a lot. Makahita, the little fat man, was sitting on Nan Feng's bed watching TV, with his arms around Frogadier and Combuskin. Good brothers will sit in a row. Kirlia was sitting next to Nan Feng, while accompanying Nan Feng while doing comm mine training. Forget it. Let's push the main story when we get home. Nan Feng got up and changed his clothes, then took back all the Pokemon. 3 days have passed. It's time to go out. Chintang University announced the final scores of all candidates on its official website. Out of 450 points, Nan Feng's score is 425, ranking first. Basic Knowledge 128 points, Pokemon Battle 150 points, Breeder Knowledge 147 points. The Basic Knowledge score is 128 points, which Nan Feng has already calculated before the test. The Pokemon Battle score was 150 points, and after the game was over, the senpai promised herself. But Breeder's Knowledge is 147 points, which is a full score of 3 points, which is what Nan Feng never expected. It seems that the last big question, I answered it perfectly. Nan Feng rubbed his chin and thought, even if the front is all correct, only 3 points will be deducted for the big question. The results are confirmed, and Nan Feng's admission qualification is also confirmed. Qintang University has sent a message to Nan Feng, reported on August 15th, to start military training. As for the admission notice, it has been sent back to his hometown according to the address he left, and it is estimated that he will arrive tomorrow. This was filled out by Nan Feng on purpose. He must have told his parents about studying at Qintang University. Instead of spending a long time explaining it himself, it is better to explain everything directly with the admission letter. Advertisement. After leaving the hotel room, Nan Feng went to the station to catch the train back to Anqing. 2 hours later, I arrived in Anqing, and then I took the small bus to the countryside. After several hours of bumps, I finally came to Nan Feng's hometown, Yangping Village, after a long absence. In my previous life, after graduating from university, I resolutely decided to stay in the big city and work hard. I only came back every few years during the new year, and I stayed in the big city for the rest of the time. Coupled with the vicissitudes of life after 20 years. When Nan Feng first got off the car, he even felt a little unfamiliar. Xiaofeng, you're back from the county. Uncle Wang, who was feeding the geese at the entrance of the village, greeted Nan Feng. Good afternoon, uncle. Nan Feng said hello subconsciously. After saying hello, Nan Feng froze in place, a little stunned. Although the time has returned to 20 years ago, and there are more Pokémons that are impossible to appear in this world, but the people I am familiar with are still there, and the sense of unfamiliarity is immediately swallowed by this big dog, and suddenly everything comes alive. Let's have dinner with the uncle in the evening. The uncle just caught a big carp in the pond at the entrance of the village. No, my parents have cooked and are waiting for me to go home. Nan Feng replied without looking back, walking towards the village step by step. There is a river at the entrance of the village, which flows down from Shaluo Mountain at the end of the village and runs through the entire Yangping village. The most common in the river is Magikarp, with occasional Pokémon such as Marill, Wooper, and Poliwag. In the memory of Nan Feng, he often played with these Pokémon in this pond when he was a child, and even raised a Poliwag. If he didn't come through, and the original self in this world was unwilling to be just an ordinary non-Pokémon professional, it is estimated that it will really be like Zhang Tianming suggested, catch a Poliwag and start your own trainer road. Quack quack, when Nan Feng was about to get home, he encountered 3 dumb-headed Psyducks lining up, swaying from side to side and walking along the river. Nan Feng looked at Psyduck, and Psyduck looked at Nan Feng too. Ga, Nan Feng tried to say hello. Psyduck, 0.0, the 3 Psyducks looked at each other, then turned to continue walking. A Psyduck, Ga, that guy doesn't seem to be very smart Yazzie. Advertisement Psyduck number 2. Ga, agreed. Psyduck number 3. Ga, big brother is right, Nan Feng. If you change it to ordinary duck, I will stew you all. Nan Feng's house is near the end of the village, near the edge of the mountain. In the distance, Nan Feng still had more than 100 meters to get home, and a little York flew close to the ground and rushed over. Nan Feng pressed the Combuskin Pokémon who were escorting them out and hugged little York in his arms. This little York was raised by Nan Feng for more than 3 years, without training, let alone subduing, just raised it as an ordinary dog, and then it became a family with Nan Feng. When I got to the door, I didn't knock. Xiaofeng is back. Hurry up to wash your hands and prepare to eat. The mother's voice sounded. Mom, I haven't knocked on the door yet. Nan Feng pushed the door and entered the courtyard. Little York can scream like that. Who else is it, but you come back? Through the glass, she could see her mother working in the kitchen. Where's Dad? I'm playing chess with your uncle. Nan Feng entered the house, and a burst of smoke rushed towards him. Not only Nan Feng's father and uncle are here, but also the eldest uncle's family, the second uncle's family, and the younger uncle's family. My mother has many brothers and sisters. She is the 3rd eldest, with 2 older sisters at the top, a younger sister and a younger brother at the bottom. She is almost married, and her father has a single lineage, so when there is a party, it is completely the mother's family. The gentleman played chess, smoked, and pointed, while the aunts were chatting with melon seeds, and the younger siblings were sitting in a row watching anime. There are 2 large tables in the hall. Fruits and cold cuts have already been served. Obviously, they are waiting for the dishes to start. Big brother is back. Dinner. Uncle's son, Li Shiyu, saw Nan Feng coming in, put down the remote control, and went to the table. He couldn't wait to start the meal. 33. Dealing with relatives has always been a troublesome thing for the young Nan Feng. Until nearly 40, He integrated into the conversation of his uncles and was able to express his views and be recognized. And he also became a part of the trouble. It seems that it is not troublesome to deal with relatives, and it is a little more comfortable. It hasn't been so lively in years. From now on, when I go home every year for the new year, it should be lively for a long time. Nanfeng smiled and toasted with relatives and talked about life and study. The notice from Chintang University was earlier than Nanfeng expected. Before it was announced on the internet, the admission notice had already been sent out. Nanfeng hadn't arrived home yet, but the admission letter arrived first. Seeing that it was a prestigious school like Chintang University, the Nan parents and Nan mothers who received the notice naturally set up 2 tables and called their relatives to have a good time together. After knowing that Nanfeng was applying for Pokemon University, several uncles patched it up and gave Nanfeng 200,000 yuan as a growth fund. Parents accepted. Nanfeng is rich now, but he has no proper reason to give it to his parents. After going to school, you can use the name of breeder to work part-time to pay back the money. Parents have no opinion on Nanfeng's admission to Pokemon University and Pokemon Trainer. They also had such dreams. Perhaps because their dreams could not be realized, they would support their children to realize them. That night, Nanfeng didn't play games and fell asleep early because he drank some alcohol. Early the next morning, Nanfeng was woken up by the roosters in the yard. Finally fell asleep, and not long after the younger, cousin Li Shiyu came to him with his nose dripping. Big brother, let's go fishing at the entrance of the village. Li Shiyu tied the sewing thread to a branch to find Nanfeng. He retracted his immature remarks from last night. Dealing with relatives is a real hassle, especially with small children. You go to Xiao Yang's big brother. Nanfeng handed him a candy. Li Shiyu went to look for Xiao Yang's big brother. After dismissing the little boy, Nanfeng slowly got up from the bed. Let's go back to the apartment in Anqing in a few days. It's much cleaner there. Advertisement just about to pack up and check out of the house. It was a rare trip back to his hometown. Nanfeng was not ready to pick up the handheld and started playing. At least he had to wait for a naughty little brat like Li Shiyu to leave. Otherwise, some entanglements would be inevitable. After breakfast, Nanfeng strolled in the village and followed the river to the mountain. Xiaoluishan, the origin of the name is no longer known, but Nanfeng vaguely remembers that he used to pick up snails in a creek halfway up the mountain. A little deeper, you can see an abandoned mine. In the 1980s, rare ores were discovered in the mountains, but because the ore was so small, it was abandoned soon after. At the entrance of the mine, you can vaguely see many abandoned minecarts, and there is even a rusted minecart track. Nanfeng is not interested in these. He is more interested in the Pokemon that live here. Just at the entrance of the mine, he had already seen 3 Geodudes. In the real world after fusion with Pokemon, what Pokemon will there be here? Nanfeng was looking forward to it. The mines are untouched all year round, and naturally become a paradise for wild Pokemons, which are the easiest places to encounter some rare and powerful Pokemon. If you have nothing to do, let's just have a mine exploration. Nanfeng walked towards the mine and just arrived at the door. A Geodude is flying out of it. One person, one Pokemon face to face. Makahita, it's over to you. Nanfeng threw the Pokeball. Mugub, oh. The little fat man went up with a pair of red fists and, bang bang, 2 punches. Before Geodude could react, he was directly beaten into the dirt and lost his ability to fight. Geodude, first of all, I didn't mess with any of you. Let Makuhita open the way. Nanfeng headed towards the depths of the mine. As he walked, Nanfeng flashed in his mind the rumors that his parents used to scare children away from playing in the mine when he was a child. The mine is haunted by the ghost of the miner who once died in the mine accident. There is a monster with a big mouth that lives in the mine, and it will eat the children who are disobedient and come nearby. Advertisement: the words that adults once made up to deceive children seem to have some credibility in the world after the fusion of Pokemon. Is there a ghost of a dead miner lingering in the mine? That designation is a ghost-type Pokemon. A monster with a big mouth? The big-mouthed frog that Granite Cave encountered fits this image quite well. Kirlia, flash as it went deeper. The surrounding light began to dim, and Nanfeng had to let Kirlia out of town. A small sun immediately hung above Nanfeng's head, illuminating the surroundings extremely brightly. After walking for about an hour, Makuhita kicked Geodude, punched Roggenrola, and made great progress, but still did not encounter any Pokemon that Nanfeng called rare. Until it reached the bottom of the mine, a relatively large space. Nanfeng thought that there was something in the corner that looked bright under the light. Bringing Makuhita closer, he found a pile of stone-like, transparent crystals next to each other. Pull over the dawn ball to take a closer look, and there will be obvious reflections. no matter which side it is shining from. Ninfeng reached out and touched it. It felt extremely hard. Why does it feel like a diamond? After talking about this guess, Ninfeng himself laughed. What are you thinking? Diamond? How could there be diamonds in this broken mine? Not to mention that if it is diamonds, it is not calculated in carats, but in kilograms. Could there be such a big diamond in this world? Unless it's a humanoid diamond Diancie. Although I don't know what kind of it is, but it has come, how can I come back empty-handed? Ninfeng commanded Makahita decisively. Makahita, pick up these oars. Let's go back. Makahita stepped forward and hugged the transparent crystal in the middle, but as soon as he pulled it up, he even pulled up the 2 crystals on the side, as if these 3 crystals, no, the crystals in this row were all strung together, connected. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, the wall on the side of the space suddenly ruptured, and a huge head protruded from the rupture more than 10 meters away, looking at Ninfeng with burning eyes. Looking at the head, Ninfeng's body trembled slightly, and his eyes were full of astonishment. Flash. Flash Onyx? 34. The huge snake-like body is obviously a snake head, but it is honest and honest. Only the crystalline body that reflects the light all over the body makes people feel surging. Appearing in front of Ninfeng is an onyx. The crystal body onyx is different from the rock body onyx. It's obviously a shiny Pokemon. Flash is not encountered in the handheld, but it is in reality. Makahita, fake out. Ninfeng attacked without hesitation. Muga, the little fat man raised his round belly and immediately launched an attack on Flash Onyx. But after this Onyx found out that it was a human, he shrank back with little interest and did not give Ninfeng a chance to fight at all. Boom boom. As soon as he plunged his head into the soil, the huge figure quickly disappeared, and the splashed soil pushed Makahita back, leaving only a long tunnel in place. Chase. Ninfeng was just about to drill into the tunnel, and with a boom, the tunnel collapsed. This got run away? Ninfeng is not chasing from the spot, nor is he not chasing. Chase, even if the tunnel didn't collapse, I wouldn't dare to run inside. Who knows when it will collapse? Don't chase. That's Flash Onyx. Onyx can evolve into Steelix, and Steelix can also evolve into Mega. In any case, it is a Pokemon with great potential to cultivate. After thinking about it, Ninfeng decided to try to chase it and found the handheld that he carried with him. The control character captures 2 Onyx belts in the granite cave, and then sends the Onyx in reality. Go find an Onyx who is different from you. Ninfeng instructed the 2 Onyx. Based on previous Pokédex knowledge, Onyx can travel up to 80 kilometers per hour in the dirt. This speed is already the maximum speed limit for a car on open roads. Only Onyx can catch up with Onyx. Advertisement: the 2 Onyx acted immediately and opened 2 more tunnels in the mine. One of the tunnels collapsed after 2 minutes, and the other collapsed after 5 minutes when a Diglett passed by. Fortunately, I didn't enter rashly. Ninfeng is very fortunate. If the tunnel just collapsed, I'm afraid Kirlia won't be able to teleport away in time. The tunnel is too narrow. Ninfeng was equal to more than 10 minutes, and he didn't wait for any good news. What he waited for was the screen where the HP values of the 2 Onyxes on the handheld were instantly reset to 0, and a prompt appeared at the same time. Your Pokemon Onyx is defeated by Onyx. Your Pokemon Onyx is defeated by Onyx, being able to kill 2 level 13 Onyx in seconds. The level of this Flash Onyx will definitely not be low. Ninfeng guessed that it might be level 30. After all, Onyx's own physical defense is very high, while physical attack is not high. The same as Onyx, Flash Onyx can kill the same kind with terrible defense in seconds with a low attack. Level 30, Ninfeng is still conservatively estimated, at least level 40 or above. Even if you give me a chance to fight, it's a bit difficult. Ninfeng compared the gap between the fighting strengths of the 2 sides. Even if all 4 of his Pokemons are up, and there is attribute restraint, but up to about 20 attribute restraint, it is no longer a gap that simple attribute restraint can smooth out. Unfortunately, this Flash Onyx does not give a chance at all. If it's going to be in the rock, I can't even fight it myself. At least there is no way for now. To get it out, you need a more advanced Pokemon that moves faster in the dirt. Grow a Velocity V Onyx yourself? Train a level 40 Onyx. Ninfeng glanced at his 4 Pokemon who were only level 21. It takes at least 2 months to train a level 15 Onyx to level 35. Is it worth changing a Flash Onyx every 2 months? For others it should be worth it, but for Ninfeng, should I be able to spawn at least 1 or 2 shiny Pokemon in Granite Cave for 2 months? It's better to train a Rock-type or Ground Pokemon as the main force, Ninfeng pondered. An excellent trainer should pay attention to the comprehensiveness of the lineup. It is indeed necessary for his team to have both the rock and ground types. Advertisement, but what rock and ground Pokemon do you want to cultivate as your main Pokemon? In the game, the Pokemon that can capture rock and ground are Aaron, Geodude, Onix, Nosepass. Neither is the right choice, not even Aaron. Agron is too slow and other Pokemon. In reality, it doesn't even matter. Or, find a Pokemon with the Earthquake ability to shake it out. Nanfeng quickly dismissed his dangerous thought. If Earthquake is used in the mine will definitely collapse, and there will be mudslides near Shaluo Mountain, which will affect the villages below the mountain. And it's probably not just this Onix that will shake out, but all the Pokemons living in Xyaluishan. 2 hours later, Onix, who was incapacitated, recovered his stamina and returned. Nanfeng released them in the game. Then let you stay here on Power Trip for a while, Nanfeng said harshly and left the cave. The next day, Nanfeng came again. I spent a whole day in the mine. He figured that if he stumbled across Flash Onix once on the first day, then maybe a second time. Then, for 3 days in a row, Nanfeng did not see Flash Onix again. It seemed that it was just a coincidence that he met Flash Onix on the first day. However, Nanfeng has also checked a lot of information these days. It was confirmed that Onix is also a territorial, solitary Pokemon entity. Then it can be determined that this small Luoshan is the territory of Flash Onix. Nanfeng felt a lot more at ease. Tried putting another Onix down. The result was the same, that Onix was defeated by Onix after more than 10 minutes. Still, Xyaluishan is not a dangerous region, and Flash Onix has been living underground and won't attract any attention. I can slowly conquer it when I have a solution. 35. After staying in his hometown for a week, Nanfeng returned to Anqing. The matter of Flash Onix will be put aside for a while, and he will participate in military training in a few days. In Cheng's apartment, all the things that should be packed are almost finished. Except for the clothes and documents that should be brought to the school, other things should be thrown away and sent home. When you go to school, you can take your bags and leave. Leaning on the sofa that was there before he sat down, with a notebook in front of him and a handheld in his hand, Nanfeng continued to go down the plot while watching the TV series. As the story progresses, the higher the level of Pokemon you can encounter, the faster you will naturally level up. Starting from Dewford Gym, Nanfeng got on the boat of Old Hatch again and headed for the next city, Slateport City. The task obtained from President Shiki was not only to send letters to Steven, but also to send letters to Steven. Got something to deliver to Slateport City. Cross the waterways 107, 108, and 109 along the way. Up on waterway 109 is the beach in Slateport City. I forgot which version was able to meet Lugia on the 109th waterway, Nanfeng muttered. At that time, he played the Emerald version not only on the handheld, but after many years, he recalled that this version was used on mobile phones and computers using GBA playing on the simulator. All kinds of revisions were rampant at that time, which made his memory confuse the original version with the revised version. Landing on the beach of Slateport City, Nanfeng set foot on the beach after thanking the old man Happy for his help. The old rule, first hit the trainer that can be played, and then loot the props in the whole city. Nanfeng thought so and did so. But the whole beach trainer alone made him play all night. Rival is outrageous. There are at least a dozen trainers on the beach, such as Big Sister Katie in bikini, Swimming Ring Stephanie Ayumi, Swimming Ring Boy Rico, Sailor Kitsuya, and so on. When a big sister in a bikini asks you to fight and says, "If you beat me, I'll be your girlfriend," will you refuse? Still thinking about it? Of course, he inherited the legacy of Master Ji, followed by I Can't Lose, and then sent Curlia to beat her. Funny. After the fight, there was some contempt in his eyes, leaving a handsome back and a sentence, "Woman, you will only affect the speed at which I lose the ball." Dogheadkilling.jpg. Afterwards, in the night alone, the silent nutrition is not enough. Advertisement, it was past 10 o'clock in the evening when I recovered. There is also a hut that sells cold drinks and surfboards near the entrance of the city. There are also a bunch of trainers in the hut. Once inside, they will drag Nanfeng to fight one by one, until the whole team is penetrated, and the boss of the hut is also defeated. The other party was very happy to send 6 bottles of soda pop. Looking at the 6 bottles of soda pop on the table, Nanfeng fell silent. I fought so hard. You give me this? Nanfeng picked up soda pop and looked at it carefully and opened a bottle. The taste of cola is similar to that of functional drinks. Nanfeng felt that it was quite delicious. In addition, the nutrients that have just been missing seem to be made up. In-game, soda pop's resilience is comparable to super potion. If there is such an effect in reality, after analyzing the ingredients of these 6 bottles of soda pop, Can it be mass-produced in reality? Nan Feng tried to find soda pop comfortable to a certain treasure. The results are yes, but they are all very normal sodas, and there is no soda with effects comparable to Super Potion. Let's leave it alone. Nan Feng decided to try to open a beverage company with the money in the future, focusing on soda pop. There are many good things on the beach, the most expensive of which is the present given to Nan Feng by Stephanie, who was sunbathing on the beach. She gave Nan Feng a piece of soft sand that increases ground damage by 17%. It has not reached 20% of the standard, but this prop can be sold for 80,000 in the real world. 80,000 things are freely given to the passing protagonist. Nan Feng. Lihua, look at people. Miss Lihua, please return the 1,400 yuan to me. After cleaning the beach in Slateport City and entering the city, the next thing is the highlight. As the central harbor of the Hoenn region map, it is far more prosperous than Rustboro City and Petalburg City. There are many buildings that do not exist in other cities, such as Pokemon Fan Club, Battle Tent, Contest Venue, etc. Advertisement among them, the Battle Tent and Contest Competition venues are buildings with special functions. In Battle Tent, Nan Feng needs to use 3 officially provided Pokemon with a fixed level of LV30 to play against other rivals. If he can defeat 3 rivals in a row, he can get a reward. The Pokemon provided are random, so in addition to testing the trainer's commanding ability, it is also a test of luck. Nan Feng was a little tired from playing more than 20 live-action battles in a row tonight. Come back another day. Passing by the Oceanic Museum, there are a bunch of people from the water fleet standing at the door. For the time being, we will not do the plot and go to the contest competition venue. The contest venue is where the contest is held, and it exists in reality. If you're interested, you can preview it here. Nan Feng is not very interested in contest competitions. He prefers to fight. In reality, most of the trainers participating in contest competitions are girls. The 2 buildings went through a cutscene, but the NPCs among them brought a lot of surprises to Nan Feng. Got a skill CD called Torment in Battle Tent. The effect is an evil-type skill that prevents rival from using the same move in a row. I don't currently have an evil-type Pokemon, and I haven't seen its tactical value for the time being, so throw the backpack first. Surprise at the contest competition venue. A little sister at the contest competition venue gave Nan Feng a set of Pokeblock kits. There are 2 sets of Pokeblock kits, one is called a Pokemon Block Box, and the other is called a Tree Fruit Mixer. When Nan Feng first went to the breeding house, he found out that there is no Pokeblock in this world. Therefore, Nan Feng's first idea when he got the Pokeblock kit was to study its principle and structure, and then mass-produce and sell Pokemon blocks. It's definitely a big business that doesn't lose money. Pokeblock can perfectly mix the nutrients in the tree fruit, and it is extremely easy to carry. There is no need to match the food like a breeding hut and deliver it one by one. Even in the wild, Pokemon can also get the nutrients that come with a refined diet. However, Nan Feng quickly suppressed this idea in his heart. I don't have the strength at present, so I can't keep this huge cake. If I really want to sell it, I still have to have the strength to back it up. So, use this thing for now. 36. Add 2 Chesto Berry, 1 Wiki Berry, 1 Pecha Berry, generated 7 blue slightly sweet and astringent Pokeblocks. Add 1 Sakura Fruit, 2 Apple Wild Fruit, 1 Persim Berry, generated 6 red and slightly sweet spicy Pokeblocks. Add 2 Pecha Berry, 1 Mago Berry, 1 Chesto Berry, generated 4 pink slightly astringent sweet Pokeblocks. Add 3 wild apples and 1 cherry fruit, generated 6 red and spicy Pokeblocks. When Nan Feng woke up early in the morning, the first thing he did was make 4 Pokeblocks with a fruit mixer. 4 Pokeblocks are made exactly to the taste of 4 Pokemon. Nutritionally balanced, delicious, and not too expensive. If you buy 4 berries in the market at an average price, it will cost at least 500 yuan, and the Pokeblock made is only enough for 1 meal at most. And a Pokemon with a large appetite like Makahita needs to eat 1 more serving. Calculated by 3 meals a day is 1,500 yuan, and a month is 45,000 yuan. The monthly breeder funding for the 4 Pokemon soared to 180,000 in an instant. That's a lot more expensive than customizing a Pokemon package at a breeding hut. Fortunately, these berries themselves can be picked up in battle through Zigzagoon. Selling it to the store is also half price. Just stay and do Pokeblock. However, Nan Feng has not fully figured out the rules of the tree fruit mixer. In hundreds of productions, only 3 silver, high-quality squares and 1 golden superior squares were made. High-quality cubes and excellent cubes are far superior to ordinary cubes in terms of taste and nutrition. So long-term consumption of high-quality Pokeblock, your own Pokemon is definitely stronger than other breeders' Pokemon. Even if the other party is a senior breeder or master breeder, it is impossible to surpass him. Even a unique block, it can even be used as a medicine. Nan Feng tested it. A single unique resistance can restore all the physical strength of Combuskin in an instant, and you can see the nutrition contained in it. Nan Feng plans to build a piece of land by himself after saving some money, plant tree fruit specially, and then use the tree fruit to make cubes. Advertisement: even if you can only make a unique block once every 100 times, you have to save up and cultivate all your Pokemon with the unique block. Maybe you can train ordinary Pokemon into legendary Pokemon. Nan Feng's greed delusions. After preparing breakfast for the Pokemons, Nan Feng went downstairs for a walk, passed by a familiar breakfast shop, and said hello to the owner, thinking that he would never eat such a delicious breakfast in the future, which is a bit strange. Back upstairs, picked up the salute, got a taxi. Nan Feng went to the train station in Anqing. There is already a beautiful woman waiting at the train station. Here, Li Xiaoyu waved to Nan Feng at the entrance of the train station. Nan Feng walked over quickly. Li Xiaoyu is from Anqing, and the breeder department has military training, and naturally there is also the battle department. And it was at the same time, so the two set out together. You're very early. Nan Feng looked at his watch and saw that there were still 45 minutes before the train arrived at the station. That's right. I'd rather be early than late, Li Xiaoyu hummed. The two went to the waiting room to wait for the train. Talk while walking. Military training is coming soon. I'm still a little excited when I think about it. Li Xiaoyu's eyes lit up when he mentioned the military training. It is said that the first place in this military training can be rewarded with a dragon-type Pokemon in the East China Sea Dragon Nest. Nan Feng raised his eyebrows, and when he mentioned military training, the first thing that came to his mind was to stand in the sun in a camouflage uniform and straighten his steps. Now also rewarding a dragon-type Pokemon? Oh, Nan Feng suddenly remembered that the military training of Pokemon University is completely different from that of ordinary universities. The military training of ordinary universities is the same as normal in the previous life, but the military training of Pokemon University is also led by military instructors, but the content is completely different. It will also combine wild survival, Pokemon battles, and more. Even before the official start of the test, there is a thorough examination that will be completed in the military training. Speaking of battles and exams, as a top university in the Dragon Kingdom, it seems that there is nothing wrong with rewarding a dragon-type Pokemon. As for the East China Sea Dragon Nest mentioned by Li Xiaoyu, this is the habitat of the 3 Dragon series Pokemon officially controlled by the Dragon Kingdom, namely the Capital Dragon Nest in the capital, the Shijing Dragon Nest in the ancient capital, and the East China Sea Dragon Nest in Qian'an. Advertisement: other universities in the Dragon Kingdom may also have rewards for military training, but the only ones that can directly use Dragon Pokemon as rewards are Jingxing University, Shijing University, and Qiantang University. Hey, I'm so envious of your breeder department. You can get a free Pokemon as soon as you enter the school, and we still have to fight for the only place to win. Huh, free Pokemon? Nan Feng looked at Li Xiaoyu suspiciously. You don't know? Now it was Li Xiaoyu's turn to wonder. What should I know? The military training content of your breeder department is to hatch a Pokemon egg with your own hands, and the Pokemon hatched from the Pokemon egg is naturally your Pokemon. This is also a benefit given to you breeder by Qiantang University, Li Xiaoyu explained. Where did you see this news? Nan Feng asked. Where is this still used? Qiantang University is like this every year, and it has not changed. Nan Feng took out his mobile phone and searched. That's true. As the nation's premier Pokemon breeder university, the breeder department is also the best in natural welfare as a trump card subject. However, it was not exactly what Li Xiaoyu said. The breeder department will indeed send a Pokemon egg to the students, but it is not always possible for the battle department to compete for a chance to conquer the dragon-type Pokemon. It's not the military training that determines the dragon-type Pokemon belongs to. Instead, it is a voluntary bottom-up competition in the face of all freshmen. All freshmen can participate, but the freshmen who have won the final prize in each session in the past are only the Pokemon family of the battle department. Over time, this is the reward given by the default academy to the combat department. Since it's a voluntary bottom-up competition for all freshmen, then, I can also participate? Nan Feng's eyes flickered, and he was a little interested. In the standard version of the Emerald version of the map, the dragon Pokemon you can obtain are Altaria, Kingdra, and Bagon. Kingdra doesn't need it. Altaria is not bad, but the dragon-type Pokemon that Nan Feng wants is going for a quasi-god. If you want to farm Bagon, you must go to Meteor Falls after learning the 8th esoteric move, Waterfall. This means that Nan Feng has to kill at least the 8th gym. That time is too long. 37. On the train, There were people beside him. Nanfeng didn't take out his handheld to play. He watched the novel and chatted with Li Xiaoyu. After arriving at Shintang West Station more than an hour later, they took a taxi to a nearby restaurant and had a meal before heading to the Tingchao campus of Shintang University to report. The entrance of the university is crowded with people, and many students are traveling for the first time, so parents will always send their children to come with them. However, it was not as lively as when he came to the exam before. After all, the number of people admitted to Shintang University is very small. Seeing Li Xiaoyu, Sr., who was volunteering to help the schoolgirls with their suitcases, brightened up, but immediately saw Nanfeng. "Look at Nanfeng, look at yourself," scolded MD. "Why are all the beautiful girls so handsome these days?" And could only silently search for other schoolgirls. Not only Senior, but also Senior's sister. After silently comparing the appearance and figure of himself and Li Xiaoyu, he could only reluctantly part with love and look away from Nanfeng's face. "Brother Nanfeng, here and here." As Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu approached the door, they saw a smiling Senior with dimples waving at her. It was Senior's sister Wang Xiaoman. She had a sign of volunteers hanging on her body. There was a small table in front of her in charge of registration, and there were several Senior and Senior sisters beside her. Nanfeng quickly walked towards Wang Xiaoman with Li Xiaoyu. "Sister, are you volunteering to receive new students again?" Nanfeng asked, handing over his admission notice together with Li Xiaoyu. "There's no way. Who asked my sister to be the student union?" Wang Xiaoman took the notice and handed it to the people around him to register, staring at Nanfeng. "Come on. Let the big baby out, let me be rare." Immediately, there were amazed glances around. Big baby. Together with Li Xiaoyu, they looked at Nanfeng in surprise. Isn't Nanfeng coming to Shintang University for the second time? How come even the Senior sister hooked up, and still so open? Cough. "Senior, your words are easy to misunderstand. There are many people here. I will show you that Pokemon later." Nanfeng coughed twice and explained quickly. The Pokemon of Kirlia's lineage are already very popular, and walking in the crowd is bound to attract attention. If you're Flash Kirlia, then you want to report in peace, and the idea of playing games is alright, gotta get stranded. Okay. Wang Xiaoman nodded, as long as he could see it. When everyone heard that the big baby was just a Pokemon, it became clear that Wang Xiaoman was not that open. However, what Pokemon can make Wang Xiaoman call the big baby? "Then I'll take you to the dormitory." Wang Xiaoman took the registered admission notice and took the initiative to lead the way. "Let's send the junior to the dormitory of the battle department first." "It is good advertisement." Nanfeng and Li Xiaoyu followed Wang Xiaoman. Poke. Nanfeng felt that something sharp was poking at his waist and looked down to see Li Xiaoyu's fingers. What is the big baby?" Li Xiaoyu asked in a low voice, looking curious. "It's just a Flash Kirlia," Nanfeng replied casually. "What?" Li Xiaoyu's eyes were about to pop out. "Flash Kirlia." Immediately, I got the attention of Kuri's film again. No matter which of the two words, Flash and Kirlia, are explosive points. "Be quiet. Everyone around you is looking at you," Nanfeng said helplessly. Feeling the gazes around, Li Xiaoyu blushed and asked Nanfeng again in a low voice, "Are you kidding me?" There seemed to be a bit of gnashing of teeth in his tone. "No, then I want to see it too." Li Xiaoyu stretched out two green jade fingers and gently dragged Nanfeng's clothes. It feels like charm, but with an irresistible, domineering tone. Okay, Nanfeng could only agree. Wang Xiaoman, who was leading the way in front, saw the interaction between the two and couldn't help but smile. Then, "Do you want to take you to the breeder department's dormitory first?" "Okay." Troublesome senpai, the three of them dragged their luggage to a neat row of cabins. All the houses have only 2 floors, and they all have their own small courtyards with abundant flowers and trees. It looked like a stack of villas. "This is the dormitory of your breeder department. Where do you like to live?" Wang Xiaoman picked up a bunch of keys, as if to tell Nanfeng, "Where you want to live, my sister can arrange it for you." Student dormitory living in a villa? Nanfeng is stunned. He deserves to be a top university and has a lot of money. "I can do it, then stay inside. It will be troublesome for anyone passing by to take a look inside." Wang Xiaoman can already predict the dilemma of Nanfeng's future. Okay. Nanfeng agreed immediately, and he already had a deep understanding of Li Xiaoyu and Wang Xiaoman's cannibalistic gaze. Advertisement. Walking deep into the dormitory area, until the wall near the island, Wang Xiaoman took Nanfeng to the most corner of the dormitory. "It's just a little troublesome during class," Wang Xiaoman said, opening the door to Nanfeng's dormitory and leading the two in. The independent small courtyard is paved with bluestone slabs from the door to the door of the cottage. Walking along the bluestone slab, you can see a big tree within a few steps. Under the big tree is a stone table and stone chairs covered with scattered leaves, and there is a swing next to it. There is a clear spring in the corner, surrounding it. Planted a lot of flowers and plants, it looks like a small swimming pool. There are a few boxing targets near the house, but they have not been used for a long time, and they are covered with a layer of dust. It's so beautiful, Li Xiaoyu couldn't help but sigh. These were arranged by the last senior who lived here. If you don't like it, you can take it down, said Wang Xiaoman. Dismantled? How can it be dismantled? Frogadier for the pool, Curlia for the swing, boxing target, etc. You can use both Combuskin and Makahita. You can also drink tea beside the stone table and stone chair under the big tree. Just don't get too comfortable. Sister, how many people live in such a big place? Nanfeng was thinking about whether to grab the room. It's just you, Wang Xiaoman replied. I'm the only one living in this villa? This time it was Nanfeng's turn to be shocked. The villa is used as a dormitory for students, but one room per person? Leaving aside how the school's handwriting is Hideki. The issue is, does this school accommodate so many people? Let's live. Qintang University has 4 campuses. In Tingxiao campus, there are only students from the Department of Combat and the Department of Breeder, Wang Xiaoman explained. However, only your breeder students have this treatment. Who made you the big treasures of Qintang University? Our students from the battle department live in a dormitory for 2 or 3 people. Li Xiaoyu cast an envious look at Nanfeng. Of course, if the 2 of you want to live together, the school also allows it. Wang Xiaoman cast an ambiguous look at the 2 of you. Sister, Nanfeng and I are not in that kind of relationship, Li Xiaoyu quickly explained. Senior sister Wang Xiaoman didn't listen at all, and cast her warm eyes on Nanfeng again. Can you show me your big baby? 38. Downstairs, Flash Curlia is sitting on the swing swinging happily. From the front and the side, Wang Xiaoman and Li Xiaoyu took out the camera out of nowhere and shot it from multiple angles. While filming, I screamed, "Ah!" It can be seen that both beauties are deeply fascinated by Curlia. With that crazy appearance, Nanfeng doubted whether they were going to kill themselves and possess Curlia. It's their point growl listening too much. Nanfeng's brain hurts. Senior sister, remember to take Xiaoyu to arrange the dormitory, Nanfeng instructed. Seeing that Curlia was enjoying herself, she didn't call her back. When at home, Curlia has nothing to do but practice calm mind. It is rare for anyone to play with her, so let's take a break. Nanfeng put the salute and inspected his small home for the next 4 years with satisfaction. Very satisfied, the furniture is at least 90% new, and all of them are expensive big brands. It can be seen that the last senior and senior who lived here still pay attention to their quality of life. This is also cheaper, Nanfeng. Everyone, come out and have a rest too, Nanfeng threw the pokeball. Combuskin, Frogadier, and Makuhita appear one by one. Jeep. Combuskin happily wandered around the new environment. Kaluaner's Frogadier glanced at Combuskin, silently walked to the swimming pool at the entrance, and began to swim comfortably. Makuhita sat lazily on the sofa, skillfully picked up the remote control pad to turn on the TV, and chose a TV series, Local Daughter-in-Law, Foreign Lang. The Pokemons were all doing what they liked. Nanfeng stretched out comfortably, raised his hand, and looked at his watch. It was only 1:30 in the afternoon. Before the new military training, there will be a gathering, that is, the first class meeting will be held tomorrow night. Therefore, Nanfeng still has a day and a half to be chic. Sitting in front of the tea table on the small balcony on the 2nd floor, he poured himself up and down, took out his mobile phone and placed an order for tea, opened his laptop and selected an anime, and finally Nanfeng took out the handheld. Enter the game and start. Advertisement. Just search Slateport City before. Nanfeng got more than just the Pokeblock kit and Swagger Skill CD. Also got a Pokemon item call, Soothe Bell, from a big sister in the Pokemon fan club. This is a good thing that can subtly increase the intimacy between Pokemon and yourself. Many Pokemon require a certain level of intimacy to evolve. For example, Munchlax evolved into Snorlax, Riolu evolved into Lucario, Eevee evolved into Espeon and Umbreon. In addition, Mega Evolution has a hidden premise that is fetters. Bonding is also a manifestation of intimacy to some extent. You can use it to improve the bond between yourself and Pokemon. Especially since his 3 Pokemons, Combuskin, Frogadier, and Curlia will be able to evolve Mega in the future. This item is especially important. Nanfeng is going to wear it for Frogadier first. After all, its Mega Evolution is quite special, which is brought by Ability Transform. But this guy rings the soothing bell and makes a sound with every step he takes. It's too uproar, and it's convenient, so don't wear it. In the end, Nanfeng can only be carried by Curlia, and it is not bad to wear it on the hand, like a string of bell bracelets. In the vegetable market in Slateport City, an ant NPC gave Nanfeng a powder jar. This item is a container, which can be filled with the powder that Nanfeng made when he made Pokeblock. Accumulating a certain amount of powder can be exchanged for different rewards at Big Mom. List of exchangeable items for tree fruit powder, energy powder, 50 servings revival herb, 300 copies leaf stone, 20%, 600 copies, limited to one exchange, protein, 1,000 copies, limited to one exchange. The list of exchangeable items will be refreshed once a week. Unlike the ant in the standard version, Nanfeng remembers that at that time, he could directly change to various attribute enhancers here. Now I can only change to one protein, and it will be updated every week. And the current version seems to have cancelled the setting of base points. Protein, a prop that itself should enhance the Pokemon's base stats, has become a prop that directly enhances attribute. Advertisement. Nanfeng doesn't know if this is good news. All the items that should be taken are taken. Nanfeng began to push the plot and first went to the Kusnogi shipyard in Slateport City to deliver the letter. Talk to the person in charge at the Kusnogi shipyard, then go to the Oceanic Museum to find the Kusnogi curator. The water fleet that was blocked in the museum before should have all gone in now, and you can go in by yourself. However, according to habit, Nanfeng talked to all the people in the shipyard when he entered the shipyard, especially a captain standing at the door of the shipyard. Captain, hello, do you want to go to another region? Taking my voyage is definitely the best option. Whether, can I go to another region? Nanfeng's eyelids jumped. He had a pity before, because the version he chose was Emerald, so he could only venture in the Hoenn region, and the Pokemon that he could capture was also very fixed. If you can travel to other regions, you will also be able to get Pokemon from other regions. At that time, all the staff will be Flash Quasi-Gods, and each one will be different. Nanfeng tried to click yes. Since he can go from Hoenn region to other regions, he should also be able to return to Hoenn region from other regions. Captain, I can feel your yearning for other regions, but I'm sorry, my wave breaker is still under repair, and it will take a while before I can go to other regions. I will definitely notify you when it is repaired. Captain, muttering, maybe I should ask some experienced friends for help, then you say 6, it will make me agitated for nothing, Nanfeng hummed. If I remember correctly, the captain will be able to take himself to Battle Frontier after completing the first game. Shouldn't it? If you want to go to other regions, you have to wait until after the first week? Nanfeng couldn't help but guess. However, knowing that he can travel to other regions is already an unexpected joy for Nanfeng. Push the plot forward and be patient. 39. When I came to the Oceanic Museum, there was indeed no one at the door. Nanfeng walked into it and was charged a ticket fee of 50 yuan. There are samples of marine water quality, soil, and sand on display here, as well as popular science introductions on model ships and the ocean. Among them, the model ship Nanfeng can recognize is a ship called SS, and in addition to the things that should be in the Oceanic Museum, there are some things that should not be here. On the first floor of the Oceanic Museum, you can see trainers wearing Waterfleet costumes everywhere. However, they only admired it on the first floor, and they didn't discourage Nanfeng from coming in, and even watched Nanfeng walk into the second floor. On the second floor, Curator Kusnogi was admiring his items. Nanfeng, hello, Curator Kusnogi, this is a custom-made part that you made at Duin Manufacturing Company. Limited President Sfuki asked me to send it. Curator Kusnogi, it's just right, I just need it. Suddenly, 2 members of the water fleet came up from the first floor. Members of the water fleet, finally waiting for you. Hand over the parts. Curator Kusnogi, handsome guy, I'll leave it to you. Curator Kusnogi was decisive, and the number shrank behind Nanfeng. Nanfeng? Nanfeng suspects that the Curator Kusnogi and the uncle of Devon Manufacturing Company, Limited, are relatives. Needless to say, the screen switched to the open space of the museum. 5 minutes later, the 2 water fleet members were defeated by Nanfeng one by one. Their Pokemon level is only level 13, and it's not enough to level up Makahita. The 2 members of the water fleet retreated, and soon the king of the water fleet, Archie, walked up to the second floor and glanced at his members. Archie, waste, I saw that you were defeated by a child as soon as you came up. Archie walked up to Nanfeng. Archie, who are you? Why hinder us? Archie, oh, no matter what your purpose is, humans, Pokemon, all gods exist because of the sea, so our water fleet is committed to developing the sea. So, I warn you, don't get in the way of our plan. Remember. After speaking, Archie turned to leave. Curator Kusunogi. Awesome handsome guy. You actually defeated the members of the water fleet. Curator Kusunogi. By the way, I have to start exploring the bottom of the sea as soon as possible. Curator Kusunogi took the parts from Nan Feng, turned around and ran downstairs. Advertisement. When Curator Kusunogi left, Nan Feng came down from the second floor. In the Oceanic Museum of Connaught University, except for the conductor, there is only one member of the water fleet looking around. Conversation. Members of the water fleet. Hey you. Do not hit me. I give you something, please forgive me. Throwing Nan Feng a skill CD. The water fleet members turned their heads and ran away. The skill CD it gave to Nan Feng was Thief. Finally got it. Nan Feng's eyes lit up. Thief. Power 60. If the attacker does not have or loses the carry item, he will get the target's carry item in this battle. Items obtained from wild Pokemon will be obtained permanently. According to Nan Feng's expectation, the boss of the top match junk-picking team should master Thief skills. A Pokemon with a Thief, Move, and 5 Pokemons for picking up ability will push the speed of earning to the limit. Now, your team configuration is complete. After learning Thief skills from Frogadier and making him the leader of the team, Nan Feng went directly to the nearest grass to try the power of Thief. Slateport City is on the 110 route. To the right of the door is a bicycle rack, which can only be climbed by bicycles. There is a grass on the left. Nan Feng started walking back and forth in the grass. In half an hour, Nan Feng basically figured out the types of Pokemon here. Zigzagoon, Poochyena, Oddish, Wingull, Electrike, Plusle, Minun, Gulpin. But it took Nan Feng more than 2 hours to determine what these Pokemon carried. Also understand a truth. The lower the probability of carrying the item, the higher the value of the item, and the higher the probability, the lower the value of the item. For example, Zigzagoon has at least a 50% probability of carrying Oranberry, and Poochyena has a 50% probability of carrying Pechaberry. Wingull has a 50% chance of carrying Beautiful Feathers. Beautiful Feathers are ordinary decorative items in the real world, and the price is not even as high as Oranberry. And he stole more than 20 props that Oddish only stole, called Absorb Bulb. Absorb Bulb. When the Pokemon carrying this item is damaged by water-type moves, its special attack is increased. Different from ordinary props that directly increase the power of skills, this kind of props is rarer, but it is too targeted, resulting in not many trainers using it. Take the Absorb Bulb in the hands of Nan Feng. For example, the price Nan Feng found on a certain treasure is 50,000. Advertisement. It took nearly 20 more plus less and minons to steal a prop called Cell Battery. This prop is similar to the Absorb Bulb. Cell Battery. When the Pokemon carrying this item is damaged by electric-type moves, its attack increases. The effects are similar, except that one is for the water system and the other is for the electricity system. And among so many Pokemons, there are 2 outliers. That's Electrike and Gulpin. The former Electrike, Nan Feng stole more than 30 pieces, but they didn't steal a single item. This made Nan Feng a little suspicious, whether the props on Electrike were too precious, or whether it had no carry at all. However, Nan Feng felt that even if there was, it could not be a good carry. Therefore, Nan Feng thinks that there may be no carry on it. The latter Gulpin is more special. It is the opposite of Electrike. Electrike has no carry, but it has 2 kinds of carry. There is a 50% chance of stealing an Oranberry, and less than a 5% chance of stealing a Pokemon item called Big Pearl. This is also an item that does not have any attribute like a Beautiful Feather, and can only be taken and sold. But its price is the same as the Beautiful Feathers. There is a world of Pokemon, and pearls of sufficient size can be produced, so absoluteness cannot come from ordinary creatures. Nan Feng checked and found that there are only 3 Pokemons in this world that can produce Big Pearl, Shelder and its evolutionary Clamperl, and then Clamperl named after Pearl. Other than that, that's Gulpin and its evolutionary Swalot. The 3 Pokemons produce different types of pearls, with Shelder and Cloyster producing smaller and more pearls. The pearls produced by Clamperl are of moderate size, different colors, and the best quality. A few of them also have the aroma of the ocean, so the most expensive pearls are basically from Clamperl. Gulpin's pearls, on the other hand, are famous for their size, and the price depends entirely on size. Overseas, there is a big pearl the size of a grinding wheel that is placed in a museum as a national treasure, and its auction price has even reached 1 billion. During the search, Nan Feng found a professional pearl trading platform. Nan Feng compared the size of the big pearl in his hand. The big pearl of similar size came from Gulpin. The last transaction price was 140,000. not counting low-end harvests like Oranberry. 2 hours, 30,000 absorbed bulb, 30,000 cell battery, 140,000 big pearl, a total of 200,000. If you brush 10 hours a day, that's 1 million, 30 million a month, compared to the previous monthly income of 1 million. Now the efficiency of making money has tripled. 40. Taishian. Young man, you still need to work harder. In the hearty laughter of old man Taishian, Nanfeng was defeated. It took him a whole day to rush the story progress to Malville City, where the third gym, Malville Gym, is located. Clear the trick house in the middle, get a rare candy that can be directly upgraded by 1 level, defeat the rival Mei and get the dowsing machine that can find hidden items around, and then arrive at Malville City and be beaten by the old man Taishian. There are a total of 3 Pokémons from Mr. Taishian, but Nanfeng has only seen 2 of them, the Lay Electro Ball from LV29 and the 3-in-1 Magneto from LV33. His lineup is just 3 LV23 Combuskin, Frogadier, and Kirlia. This is not a fighting gym. There is no attribute restraint advantage. On the contrary, his own Frogadier was restrained by the electric system, and he was beaten. If it wasn't for Combuskin and Kirlia being strong, Nanfeng might not have seen Sanhei Magneto appear. Not to mention the last Pokemon. Ground Pokemon is imminent. Nanfeng controls the protagonist to go to Granite Cave. He had already run over the grass near Malville City, and there were only 3 extra Pokemons, Iliumise, Sweet Firefly, and Rosalia. Nanfeng has no interest in these 3 Pokemons, so he will go back to Granite Cave while flashing and leveling up. Drip drip. Nanfeng's phone received a text message. Milu, Kirlia ended Calm Mind, and controlled the phone with confusion and placed it in front of Nanfeng. He took over the phone to check, and found that it was sent by someone named Tang Zhihui. Tang Zhihui, please go to Teaching Building A, number 3 Multimedia Classroom before 1800 hours today, August 16th. To attend the first class meeting, Tang Zhihui should be the counselor. Nanfeng muttered and glanced at the time. It was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Eat a meal, take a shower, and you're almost ready to go to class. Flashing this thing can't be rushed for a while. Ordered a takeaway and came down from the 2nd floor. Advertisement in the living room. Makuhita's fleshy body was leaning against the sofa, holding popcorn in one hand and a big Coke in the other, staring intently at the LCD TV. When he noticed Nanfeng coming downstairs, he smiled naively. Muka, carrot, be careful not to spill it, Nanfeng reminded. Makuhita's hand is like a glove. That is, it has no fingers, and it will drop things if you are not careful. Just 2 days into his new home, this guy has already dropped 3 glasses. On the doorstep, Combuskin and Frogadier are in close combat. Just lost to Taishian, which was quite exciting for both of them. After all, not every Pokemon can be as heartless as Makuhita. No, Makuhita never got a chance to play, so there's no pressure on it at all. After having dinner for a few Pokemons, Nanfeng went upstairs to take a shower. When he finished taking a shower, Frogadier had already helped pick up the delivery. After eating takeaway, the time came to 1740. Nanfeng collected a few Pokemons and started to go to the No. A teaching building. The freshmen reported in this report are almost here, but the whole school seems to be a lot deserted. Every year, Chantang University recruits only more than 2,000 freshmen, and each campus has only 500 freshmen. And many seniors have already started going out for internships or taking part in adventures. Therefore, the Chantang University Dingchao campus of Nova University plus the teachers and staff members does not even have 2,000 people. Suddenly I understand why breeder students can be equipped with single villas. Walking on the campus, most of the students who come and go are girls. When he walked from the dormitory to the classroom, Nanfeng had already been asked for his phone number by 3 senior sisters. In addition to Nanfeng's good looks, there is also the dilemma that Chantang University has more wolves and less meat. When I came to the number 3 multimedia classroom, it was already brightly lit, noisy, and Pokemon's growl came from time to time. As soon as he entered the door, a series of glances lock on Nanfeng. Another handsome guy, a girl exclaimed. This is also the voice of many girls. Advertisement: there are more than 40 people in the classroom. At least 30 of them are girls, and the ratio of boys and girls is almost 1:4. Not only do boys look for beautiful women in a new environment, but girls also look for handsome guys. Especially in a place like Chantang University where there are many wolves and few meat. A high-quality handsome guy is even more the delicacy coveted by the wolves. As for the previous handsome guy, he was a mixed-race boy sitting in the 3rd row of the multimedia classroom, with blonde hair and black eyes, and a high-nose bridge. These 3 points alone can make even a normal person with long facial features have a strong appearance. Find a seat first and sit down, a female voice reminded Ninfeng. She is a pretty woman with short skirt, black silk, and black hair, standing on the podium. The golden frame on the bridge of her nose gives her a 3-point intelligence. She should be Tang Zhihui, the instructor of Nanfeng's class. Nanfeng's eyes swept across the entire multimedia classroom and immediately chose an empty seat at the back to sit down. Then he silently took out the handheld and controlled the character to start flashing in Granite Cave. The time came to 1800 hours. Tang Zhihui looked at her watch, and when the time came, she immediately called and confirmed the number of people. After confirming that everyone had arrived, she put down the list, glanced at the audience, and said in the tone of an old teacher, "Yes, at least no one was late on the first day. I also hope that everyone will not be late in the future. To call everyone tonight, 2 things. The first thing, choose the class committee. Have you all volunteered to be the class committee? If you want to be a class committee member, you can come up and introduce yourself and explain the position you want to run for. In addition, as a past person, I would like to remind everyone that the class committee of a university is very different from the class committee of a high school. Being a class committee in a university has additional benefits, whether you want to enter the student union to exercise yourself, or you want to have more contact with the teacher, to participate in more extracurricular activities. Tang Zhihui's way of choosing a class committee is an old-fashioned one. Nanfeng remembers that he also chose the same class committee when he first entered high school. Nanfeng has no interest in the class committee. Benefit? What benefits can be compared to your current daily income of 1 million? 41. Nanfeng is not interested in the class committee, but others don't think so. 2 minutes later, a young girl mustered up her courage and took the initiative to take the stage. Hello everyone, my name is Hu Feifei. I'm very happy to be my classmate with you. I'm good at drawing. My favorite Pokemon is Dedenne. The position I'm running for is Publicity Committee member. I hope everyone can support me. It was very brief, but it was all the language that the girl mustered up the courage to speak. When she spoke, her cheeks were visibly red, and there was a faint heat rushing out of her head. Nanfeng is quite novel, and there is actually a steam girl. Pop, Tang Zhihui took the lead in applauding the brave girl who came up first. Everyone also gave applause, no matter good or bad. Her bravery deserves everyone's affirmation. With Hu Feifei taking the lead, men and women who wanted to become class committee members came to power one after another. Hello everyone. My name is Li Yunan. My hobby? Nanfeng was sitting in the last row, looking at the podium like he was watching a play. Although there is a world of Pokemon, there are still those class committees that should be there. The sanitation committee responsible for cleaning the classroom, the cultural and entertainment committee who use it once a year, etc. A group of class committees decided one after another, until in the end, unexpectedly, the seat of the class leader was left. Lin Mena is the secretary of the league party, so let's choose a boy for the squad leader. If you have any important work in the future, you don't need to call anyone else, Tang Zhihui suggested. Everyone's eyes began to swim on Nanfeng and the former Pangamo blonde half-blood, including other boys. It seems that only the 2 of them are qualified to sit on the throne of the supervisor. This goddamn face-seeing world. The handsome guy is me? That's fine. Nanfeng turned a blind eye to the eyes around him. Ordinary class committee, he is too troublesome, let alone the monitor. Pang Mo's face was indifferent, as if it had nothing to do with him. Tang Zhihui was able to clearly perceive what the people want. However, neither Nanfeng nor Pang Mo seemed to have any intention of being the squad leader. Why are you guys so inactive? That's not good. College life is all about exercising yourself. Since you are not conscious, you can only force the election. Well, let your girls vote for the squad leader, Tang Zhihui said thoughtfully, not giving anyone a chance to refuse at all. The girls shine brightly. Advertisement, starting from the first girl on the left. Vote row by row. The first girl who was called stood up with a blushing face and whispered, I choose Pangamo. Seeing her ignorant expression, she thought she was accepting confessions from a group of people. The eyes of the other girls were suddenly sharp as swords, as if they were about to pierce through. As soon as she finished speaking, a thick voice came from beside her, like thunder. I choose Nanfeng. Everyone focused on the past and found that it was a boy with 5 big and 3 rough. Girls vote. Boys don't have the right to vote. Tang Zhihui rolled her eyes at him. There was laughter in the multimedia classroom. Nanfeng's face turned black, and he held Curly's pokeball tightly in his hand. No male mother. No male mother. No male mother. Important things said 3 times. I thought everyone could vote? Nanfeng is very capable at first glance, so I chose him. The old man smiled apologetically, and he felt embarrassed himself. Go on. Second, the second girl stood up, and her choice was also Nanfeng. The third girl chose Pangamo. The fourth girl chooses Nanfeng. There were 30 girls in a row, and the options were still only Nanfeng and Pangamo. Moreover, the number of votes is exactly 15 votes per person, completely tied. Even if it is pulled away, it will be caught up immediately. The intensity of the scene made many people's cheeks flush, and there was quite an illusion that they were chasing stars and making lists for idols. Just when it was the 31st girl's turn to make her choice, a senior at the door suddenly came in and knocked on the door. Excuse me, is Nanfeng in this class? Everyone immediately turned their attention to Nanfeng, who was sitting in the back row of the classroom and was flashing with a handheld. Nanfeng looked up in a daze and looked at Senior with a blank face. Huh, looking for me? But he didn't know the senior at all. What are you looking for, Nanfeng? Tang Zhihui's eyes swept away, murderous, secretly. Senior Hideki, who was glanced at him, didn't dare to breathe and answered with a shrug. It's Professor Lin who is looking for Nanfeng. Professor Lin? Lin Jian? Tang Zhihui glanced at Nanfeng. Could it be that Nanfeng is a relative of Lin Jian? Advertisement: yes, it's Professor Lin Jian. Why is Lin Jian looking for Nanfeng? Professor Lin said he would be invited to join the research team. Join Lin Jian's research team? Tang Zhihui couldn't believe that Nanfeng was Lin Jian's relative. Not only Tang Zhihui didn't believe it, but the students in the entire multimedia classroom also didn't believe it. Lin Jian, a well-known researcher in Longhua, he has published many authoritative Pokemon research papers internationally. Specially appointed by the president of Qintang University, he is also the youngest professor in Qintang University's history. A master breeder, he used his breeder's Pokemon to defeat a foreign elite head-on. And just this year, he won the first place on the Dragon Country celebrity list for 3 consecutive years. It can be said that he is the only leader of the young generation of the Dragon Kingdom. Such a person invites Nanfeng, a freshman, to join his research team? Everyone's first reaction was not that there was anything special about Nanfeng, but that this is absolutely fake. Well, that's what Professor Lin said. If you don't believe me, you can call him. Senior nodded repeatedly. Tang Zhihui really took out her mobile phone on the spot, called Lin Jian, and asked directly, "You want a student named Nanfeng in my class to join your research team?" "All right, I got it." Tang Zhihui put down her phone and looked up at Nanfeng. "Let's go and take the chance." Tang Zhihui didn't know why Lin Jian liked Nanfeng, but like she said, this is definitely an opportunity. If Nanfeng can grasp it, it may even change the trajectory of his life. Okay, Nanfeng agreed, got up from his seat, and walked out of the classroom. Looking at Nanfeng's back disappearing at the door of the class, the entire multimedia classroom exploded. F***K. What is the origin of Nanfeng? He joined Professor Lin's research team just after school started. I guess it should be a relative. He is only 18 years old like us. He can't have achieved anything, right? But I heard that Professor Lin Jian's team never accepts related households. Everyone was talking about it. Whether they believed it or not, things were right in front of them. Quiet! Tang Zhihui shouted softly, calming down the scene. Where have you just been? Seeing Pangamo, there are also faces full of exploration. So, if one of the parties is gone, will this monitor continue to vote? 42. Nanfeng followed Senior downstairs. I'm Li Huanai, a junior majoring in Pokemon Pokédex. Before meeting my mentor, I have a personal question I want to ask you. Okay? Senior suddenly said as he went downstairs. In the first year of Qintang University, there are only departments, and in the second year, there are detailed professional distinctions. Did you design the breeder plan for Nosepass written on your paper? Li Huanai was really curious. He studied Nosepass with Lin Jian for so long, but he still couldn't understand what a freshman named Nanfeng wrote. Breeder program. Nanfeng was also curious as to why the professor named Lin Jian wanted to join the research team by himself. Now it seems that it should be because of Nanfeng Nosepass's breeder plan. But a Nosepass breeder plan, is it necessary to directly join the research team? No, I read it from a book, Nanfeng replied. No wonder Li Huanai guessed that this is the case. Otherwise, with Nanfeng's age and knowledge in the freshman year, how could he have such a profound research on Nosepass? Soon, Li Huanai took Nanfeng to the number 7 laboratory building, number 7 office. Teacher, Nanfeng is here. Li Huanai brought Nanfeng to the door, but he turned his head and entered the office next door. Come in, the voice in the office sounded, and Nanfeng pushed the door in. There is only one desk in Nuota's office, but there are 2 large sofas, with a Glacian and a Flareon lying on each side. and a female love steward is helping to clean up the documents on the coffee table. There was also a vase in the corner, without flowers, a Rosalia squatting and dozing in it. This is more like a private room than the office Nanfeng imagined. A young man with silver hair and a face like a young man wearing a researcher's white lab coat was sitting on the sofa, one hand resting on Flareon's hair, and the other holding a book called The Meaning of Pokémon Pokédex to the World. He should be a famous researcher in Longhua, a distinguished professor of Qintang University. Lin Jian, a master breeder. Advertisement, sit down, Lin Jian said without raising her head. In the nearly 40 years of his previous life, Nanfeng has never seen any big winds and waves. He doesn't have the restraint of an 18-year-old boy at all. He sits carelessly opposite Lin Jian, and Glacian jumps away with yawn and falls to the desk. Continue to take a nap. What does the professor want from me? I have a few questions that I want you to answer for me. Lin Jian's eyes still stayed on the book. Again? Nanfeng guessed that Lin Jian was going to ask the same question as Li Huanai again, but his tone was not asking for Nanfeng's opinion, but more like an order. First question, how strong do you think the magnetic field would be for Nosepass to evolve into Probopass? Huh. Nanfeng was stunned. Do not you know? Knowing, Nanfeng remembers recording it in the breeder notebook of Kinan's owner. If the magnetic field is thought to be made, it needs a strength between 10T and 10.5T, so accurate? Lin Jian raised her eyebrows slightly. Well, below 10T can't affect Nosepass, and strength above 10.5T will cause damage to Nosepass. If Nosepass wants to evolve, it needs to live between 10T, 10.5T for a long time. When it adapts to the strength, it can evolve. Talk about Probopass, Nanfeng eloquently, although he has not personally experimented. However, I recommend using the special magnetic field that exists naturally in nature. The strength of the Probopass that evolves under the special magnetic field is much higher than that of the Probopass that evolves in the artificially created super-strong magnetic field, even if the magnetic field strength is the same. Lin Jian put down the book, which was consistent with the experimental results he had done before. At first he thought it was the strength of Nosepass itself that affected the results of the experiment. It seems that the experiment is not precise enough. Go back and test again. The reason? I don't know. Nanfeng spread his hands. Miss Kinnan only talked about the evolution path and how to evolve better. She is not a Pokemon researcher who will write the principle clearly. Even if it is written clearly, she can't understand it without professional knowledge. Lin Jian asked again, I have another question. Do you think Nosepass is better to evolve with Thunderstone? Or is it better to evolve under a special magnetic field? Advertisement, Evolution Nosepass with Thunderstone, only available in Arceus version. I can't talk about which evolution is better. It mainly depends on what kind of Nosepass you want. The Nosepass evolved with Thunderstone will have stronger electric moves, while the Nosepass evolved with a special magnetic field, its various aspects will be more excellent, and the ability to control electromagnetics will be enhanced, Nanfeng answered thoughtfully. I remember that in Miss Kinnan's notes, she also has a training plan that allows Probopass, which evolved from a special magnetic field, to learn the electromagnetic levitating move, completely freeing Probopass from the disadvantage of slow-moving speed. Lin Jian sat up straight and continued to ask questions. You mentioned adding Babiri Berry in Nosepass's breeder project. Why is that? Nosepass is a Pokemon, but it seems to be entirely mineral-eating. Babiri Berry is not in its food category, really? Nanfeng wondered. Shouldn't it be? Using Babiri Berry for a long time can increase the resistance to Steel-type moves, which is very useful for Nosepass who are restrained by Steel-type. Even the Nosepass in the wild will eat it if it encounters Babiri Berry, because it is often motionless and only uses magnetism to attract prey to hook, and this method can easily attract their natural enemy Metong. In order to resist Metong, Babiri Berry even more appealing to them than normal food. Nosepass in the wild. Lin Jian nodded in approval. Sure enough, field research in the field is required to obtain the most accurate and complete research results. Yes, I'm very satisfied with your answer. Lin Jian reached out and took a contract from the love steward and put it in front of Nanfeng. Signing this contract, you will be a member of my research team in the future. Looking at the contract in front of him, Nanfeng did not write, but frowned, looked up at Lin Jian and asked, Professor Lin, are you finished with your questions? I'm done asking, then I also have a question I want to ask Professor Lin. Ask, why should I join your research team? 43. Lin Jian was taken aback when Nanfeng asked this question. Why join a research team? Nanfeng was also the first person to ask this question in the face of his own invitation. Or, is there any benefit for me to join your research team? Nanfeng asked in a different way. He knew exactly what he wanted. Nanfeng came to apply for Qintang University in order to learn the knowledge of breeding, and then get the breeder's license to open a breeding hut and better cultivate his own Pokemon. So, after joining Professor Lin Jian's research team, is there any extra points for taking the breeder's license? Or to cultivate a powerful Probopass? The problem is that I don't have a Nosepass, and I don't cultivate a Pokemon like Nosepass. There is no extra points, and it is not for cultivating a Probopass, so why did you join Professor Lin Jian's research team to study Nosepass? Wasting time? When I have this time, I go to play games. I guess I can grab a Nosepass of Flash 6V. Then how do you need to train it? No matter how you cultivate it, it is the strongest Nosepass. Benefits. Lin Jian was surprised by Nanfeng's reality. In his opinion, this was not something a freshman could say. Lin Jian suddenly remembered the calmness of this young man when he first met him, a celebrity in the Dragon Kingdom, and the eloquent conversation he had with him. Ha! Lin Jian chuckled softly and said loudly, "Joining my research team will give you a special business card. After graduation, whether you go to China or abroad, you will be welcomed by a large number of research institutions. I'm not interested in research institutions, and there is no option for a Pokemon researcher in my career plan," Nanfeng said bluntly. Even career plans are out. Lin Jian once again experienced Nanfeng's maturity and reality. When it comes to reality, my research team has 500 million experimental funds every year, and the members' remuneration is at least 1 million. Even ordinary members have benefits such as public travel twice a year. If they hold positions, the remuneration and benefits can be increased. I'm not short of money, Nanfeng shook his head slightly. For him, 1 million? What about calling Delia? Advertisement, but it's just the salary for playing games for 1 day. As for the 500 million, that is the experimental funds. How much can I use for myself? Lin Jian was dumb, and yes, a top institution like Qintang University was a breeding major, so it was normal for a family to have money. But you don't want fame, you don't want profit, you have to want something, right? After thinking about it, Lin Jian simply asked directly, "Then what do you want?" There was a flash of light in Nanfeng's eyes. What he was waiting for was the time to channel. What channel? A channel for purchasing rare resources, a channel for purchasing treasure-level Pokemon items at normal prices, Nanfeng said. After knowing that the other party wanted to join the research team because of his share of Nosepass's breeder plan, Nanfeng thought a lot along the way. He doesn't need fame or profit. He needs more advanced Pokemon items that can only be touched by a certain social status. The only Pokemon items currently on the market are the most common Pokemon items. Take Black Belt as an example. Reality is not a game. There are always good and bad things. The attribute of ordinary Black Belt is that the power of fighting type moves increases by 1% to 20%. What about the better Black Belt? For example, the Black Belt with a bonus of more than 20%. In the game, the bonus of 20% is the limit, but in this world, it is not the case. Not only are there more than 20%, there may even be Pokemon items with a bonus of more than 30%. And such Pokemon items that exceed the upper limit are called treasures. In addition to the limit bonus of treasure-level Pokemon items exceeding ordinary Pokemon items, the excess part can still be absorbed by Pokemon and become a permanent bonus for Pokemon. Take the Black Belt as an example. A Black Belt with a 21% bonus will reduce its bonus to 20% after being carried by Pokemon for a period of time. And the 1% it loses is permanently added to Pokemon. Even if Pokemon later replaces other Pokemon items, this plus Samson will always exist. Advertisement. It is precisely because of this feature that treasure-level Pokemon items have attracted countless trainers. But the better things are, the rarer they are. Treasure-level Pokemon items are hundreds of times rarer than regular Pokemon items. As a result, it is impossible for a platform that ordinary people can access to have treasure-level Pokemon items, because it may have been bought before it was sold. Name, Nanfeng is not interested. Profit, he will earn it himself. But Nanfeng has no way to get this special treasure-level Pokemon item. I also don't know if treasure-level Pokemon items can be produced in the handheld. In order to make your Pokemon stronger, the sooner you master this channel, the better. Channel. Lin Jian put these two words in her mouth and chewed for a while before looking up at Nanfeng. He found that the freshman in front of him was not 18 years old, but more like 38, an adult who focused on interests and practicality. The channel, I can give it to you. Lin Jian agreed and immediately asked, "But what can you bring me?" After this sentence was spoken, the two completely changed from the situation where the tutor accepted the students to the equal situation where the two businessmen were negotiating a deal. Nanfeng breathed a sigh of relief. He didn't regard Lin Jian as a tutor, but it was not necessary that Lin Jian would not regard himself as a student. If those old-fashioned tutors, I am afraid that they will blow their beards and say, "Lear, I accept you as a student to give you face. I can give you all my research materials about Nosepass." Nan Feng refers to breeder's experience given by Miss Kinnan. There is also enough Nosepass Pokemon available. As far as I know, there is not much Nosepass distribution area in the Dragon Kingdom, and you should not have many Nosepass in your hand. Since this is a transaction, Nan Feng naturally, the chips have been thought out on the road. A hint of surprise flashed in Lin Jian's eyes. "Do you have access to Nosepass?" Nan Feng smiled, neither denying nor admitting it. "Okay." Lin Jian made a direct decision and handed the original contract to the Love Steward, asking him to change the contract, while saying to Nan Feng, "Within a week, if you can get 100 Nosepass, then my channel will be open to you forever." When the contract was put in front of Nan Feng, the content was no longer a contract for the disciple to work for the teacher, but a contract signed by the two collaborators. The necessary foreshadowing is finally over. "I wrote it for half a day. Said to let me put 30 updates on the shelves. I ran out of 11 manuscripts. I have worked hard these days to see if I can make 15 updates. Bar." 44. 7 a.m. the next morning. Nan Feng played a carp, got up to wash, and made breakfast for Pokemon by the way. When he returned to the classroom last night, the class meeting was over. Because of his absence, Pang Mo was successfully elected as the class leader. At the same time, he was told that he would go to the breeder house of Chintang University to pick up Pokemon eggs by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just like what Li Xiaoyu told Nan Feng, a Pokemon egg will be given as a military training task during the military training of the breeding department. Back at the dormitory in the evening, Nan Feng turned on the handheld and started the flashing trip of Granite Cave. But now there is one more task, which is to capture the Nosepass encountered. Being able to catch Nosepass in Granite Cave is the basis for Nan Feng's promise that Professor Lin Jian will provide Nosepass by himself. The probability of Nosepass appearing is not high, only a little higher than Ralts. After 3 hours of brushing at night, Nan Feng only caught 12, but the delivery time is 1 week, so the time is still sufficient. In 3 hours, Nan Feng took a look at the belongings of the Pokemons on the first and second floors of the Granite Cave. Zubat does not drop. Abra has a 5% chance of carrying Twisted Spoon. Geodude has a 5% chance to carry Everstone. Makuhita has a 5% chance to carry Black Belt. Both Onyx and Aaron have a 5% chance to carry the Hard Stone. Sableye has a 5% chance of carrying the Wide Lens. The Big Mouth Frog has a 5% chance of carrying the Iron Ball. Nosepass has a 5% chance to carry Magnet or Hard Stone. In general, the properties of Granite Cave are extraordinarily rich. Unlike a lot of tree fruits in 110 Route, these Pokemon living underground are mostly Pokemon props that increase the power of attribute moves. Nan Feng was here for 3 hours and stole 3 Hard Stones and 1 Everstone. There are not many things, but every item is expensive. Advertisement: the 3 Hard Stones increase the power of Rock-type moves by 14%, 17%, and 19%, one at 70,000, one at 85,000, and one at 95,000. As a functional rare item, the price of Everstone in the market is fixed, 250,000 pieces, without any counteroffer. So, Nan Feng earned 500,000 in 3 hours. Work hard, 12 hours a day, that's 2 million a day. 60 million a month. Switching from 110 Route to Granite Cave doubled my income again. Making money is really easy. Nan Feng couldn't help but sigh. Now a few minutes of earning money to a few years in the previous life. This gap? Nan Feng suddenly felt the feeling of a nouveau riche. It's not that I want to spend money, it's that it's hot in my hand. To this end, Nan Feng revenge ordered a 1,000 yuan supper. So far, Nan Feng has not stolen even a single treasure-level Pokemon item. This made him still doubt that there is no possibility that treasure-level Pokemon items cannot appear because the game upper limit is 20%. Eat the leftovers from last night's supper for breakfast. Putting away the Pokemons after breakfast, Nan Feng went out to the breeding hut of Chintang University. Passing by the main road of the campus, I saw the group of students wearing camouflage uniforms passing by. They were all freshmen in the combat department. Nan Feng. Hearing someone calling his name, Nan Feng hurriedly looked in the direction of the voice and saw Li Xiaoyu at a glance. She was waving at Nan Feng with her hat and ran to him. At the same time, no less than 3 male classmates followed, and more than 10 female classmates locked on Nan Feng. 2 people with good looks in the same frame can always attract everyone's attention. Where are you going? Nan Feng asked. Go to Trial Island. The content of this year's military training has not changed. It is still wild adventure, Li Xiaoyu complained. We have to leave at 7:30 in the morning and come back at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Advertisement Trial Island, also known as Experiment Island. It is a small island opened by Chintang University nearby, and it is specially designed to keep some Pokemon in it. It is not only convenient to observe the habits of Pokemon, but also can be used as a place to hone students' combat ability. Kill two birds with one stone. At present, there are as many as 7 trial islands opened up by Chintang University. However, only 3 are open to students. The other 4 are dedicated to some professors in the school. For example, Professor Lin Jian has a dedicated trial island of thunder and lightning. Very good, Nan Feng said with a smile. 4 students in the combat department who have nowhere to level up. The trial island is the best place to level up. What a shit in this weather. I feel that no matter how much sunscreen I put on, I have to get sunburned when I get to the island. Li Xiaoyu rolled her eyes. Don't laugh at me. You can't run away either, Nan Feng shrugged. Their breeding department is indeed going to the trial island, but it's a few days later, and you can't go until the Pokemon eggs hatch. By the way, the registration for the new military training competition has begun. Didn't you say you want to join in and play? Remember to sign up? However, you'd better pray that you don't run into me, or I'll let you know what a bow is. What is a rising star in the battle department? Li Xiaoyu is gearing up. Since the last match in the Westlake Arena, he has already used Nanfeng as an imaginary enemy, thinking that one day he will find a chance to fight Nanfeng. Being able to be my first target, the future battle queen, Nanfeng, you are already proud. Okay, the rising star of the battle department. But if you don't go forward, you may have to wait for the ship to Trial Island tomorrow. Nanfeng pointed at the military training team that was about to disappear and reminded. When Li Xiaoyu turned around, the long military training team could only see the tail. Wait for me. Li Xiaoyu hurried forward and shouted at Nanfeng. Wait for me to come back and give me a hug. A group of seniors couldn't help looking at Nanfeng. Big baby? Is that the one? TSK, the new students are really open now. Nanfeng turned around silently and continued to move towards the breeding hut. The registration point for the new military training competition is on the way, and you can also register by the way. Those book friends who said that I used my life to flash in the comment area, please stop your inappropriate behavior. You better have something to do. 45. When Nanfeng came to the breeding hut, the door was already full of people, but it was not just the 40 people he saw in the classroom last night, but more than 200 people. There are 5 classes in the breeding department, and each class has about 40 students. Each squad lined up to wait 8 o'clock to enter the breeding hut to pick Pokemon eggs. Dude, our team is here. Nanfeng was suddenly patted on the shoulder. The next second, a burly man 2 meters tall came into Nanfeng's eyes. It's my classmate, the male mother who supported me as the monitor last night. Male classmate. Nanfeng remembered his name. It seemed to be Jixianga. Yes, that's the name. It's a nice name, but it's rather cheap. Whoever calls him has to be a brother. I just don't know what his parents call him, or if he is also called brother. Okay, Nanfeng followed, and simply came in behind Jixianga. 15 minutes before the door opens at 8. Jixianga turned his head and asked curiously, Dude, how was yesterday? Have you joined Professor Lin's research team? That's right, Nanfeng nodded, but as a collaborator, not a student. Amazing! Jixianga praised loudly. I heard that your grades in the entrance exam are still the first in the breeding department? How did you do it? How did you know? Nanfeng couldn't remember who he had told about this. It spread all over the campus online. After you left last night, a post appeared on the campus website, saying that you joined Professor Lin's team before the military training started, and then posted your entrance examination results. Now, buddy, you are considered to be in Chintang University. A celebrity. I just don't know when I can become the man of the school. Jixianga looked longing. Trouble. Nanfeng frowned. No wonder when he came here, he always felt that many people he didn't know were looking at him. Forget it, it's a matter of time before you become famous. Flash Curlia, Flash Makahita, as long as I use it once in school, it will definitely be remembered by everyone. The two chatted for a while. This season, Shanga doesn't look so big. In fact, he is still a baby, a curious baby. Pulling Nanfeng to ask questions, and it is a chatter, from the entrance examination results to foreign politics. If the breeding hut is not opened at the point, Nanfeng estimates that he will have to explore with him whether there are aliens in this world. Advertisement. Nanfeng doesn't know whether aliens exist or not, but he can definitely have alien Pokemon. Everyone follows the squad leader and enters the arena in an orderly manner. One class enters one room. Tang Zhihui stood at the front of the team. Today, She changed into a white sports suit, but her graceful figure was still exceptionally dazzling. 5 teams entered 2 by 2, and soon it was Nanfeng's class. Following Pang and Mo into the breeding hut, everyone passed a disinfection checkpoint before being allowed to enter the room where the Pokemon eggs were kept. There are hundreds of Pokemon eggs in Nuota's room, and each Pokemon egg is a different color. Even if the color is the same, the markings on the body will be completely different. Just like you can't find 2 identical leaves, you can't find 2 identical Pokemon eggs. Not only that, but the size of Pokemon eggs is not the same. Small Pokemon eggs are only the size of a palm, while large Pokemon eggs look like they are holding a bucket waist. No matter the size, each Pokemon egg is placed in a glass container with a corresponding temperature regulation mechanism. Only at the most suitable temperature can the success rate of Pokemon be increased and the healthiest Pokemon baby be born. Wow, what a cute Pokemon egg. There are so many Pokemon eggs. How do I choose them? Can anyone tell me what Pokemon these Pokemon eggs correspond to? I'm going to pick a red Pokemon egg soon. It should be able to hatch a Fire-type Pokemon. It is said that 2 women are equal to 1,000 ducks, and there are more than 30 girls in my class. Nanfeng felt like he came to the vegetable market in an instant. Okay, everyone, be quiet and quickly pick your Pokemon eggs. Remember, you can't reach out and touch them during the observation phase. If you want this Pokemon egg, take off the container from the table and come to me register here. A loud voice suppressed the noisy voice. The aura of Counselor Tang Zhihui was able to calm these little girls. The girls lowered their voices and discussed in a low voice. Dude, what Pokemon do you want? I'll help you pick it. Ji Xianga patted his chest and said, as if he was picking a watermelon instead of a Pokemon egg, he would definitely be able to pick a sweet one. No need. Nanfeng picked up the nearest Pokemon egg. He's not interested in free Pokemon eggs. Advertisement: the Pokeball that the school can let students get for free must not have quasi-god Pokemon, and even rare Pokemon may be a minority. I haven't learned how to distinguish Pokemon eggs, and I don't have a see-through eye. I don't know what Pokemon are in a Pokemon egg. There is no difference between picking one carefully and picking one at random. No need to waste time. Take the Pokemon egg and walk directly to Tang Zhihui to register. So soon? No more choosing? Tang Zhihui asked. No need. Nanfeng shook his head slightly.
Yes.
Tang Zhihui raised her head and said to everyone, the first stage of military training is to hatch this Pokemon egg. The first person to hatch successfully will also receive prop rewards corresponding to the Pokemon attribute, and the second stage will be opened in advance, so everyone should let me know as soon as possible after hatching. After completing the registration, Nanfeng left the breeding hut with a glass container. When he was walking on the road, he had time to take a good look at the Pokemon eggs in his hands. White background, round spots, but each spot has a different color: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Hey, the colors of the rainbow. Wait, what Pokemon has to do with rainbows? Ho-Oh? Nanfeng felt that he was going blind too. Can this ordinary Pokemon egg hatch Ho-Oh? However, when it comes to Pokemon eggs, Nanfeng remembered that there are hatching eggs in the game. Moreover, the hatching eggs in the game do not wait for time to hatch naturally, but count the number of steps. According to the path the protagonist walks, count the number of steps, and when a certain number of steps are reached, Pokemon will hatch naturally. If this is the case, can I put this Pokemon egg into the handheld and hatch it through the number of steps? I remember that Instructor Tang said just now that the first person to hatch a Pokemon egg will be rewarded with corresponding Pokemon items. Just do it. Nanfeng immediately walked towards the dormitory. 46. Back in the dormitory, Nanfeng turned on the handheld. Sure, Pokemon eggs can also be included in the handheld. However, Pokemon eggs also occupy a Pokemon carrying slot. Nanfeng took a Zigzagoon and replaced it with a Pokemon egg. Because there is no way to know the number of hatching steps, Nanfeng can only take the Pokemon eggs in Granite Cave while brushing the number of steps. With both hands skillfully operating, Nanfeng's head was empty, remembering his previous experience of hatching eggs and brushing flashes. In the game of the previous life, the probability of hatching a shiny Pokemon is higher than the probability of encountering a shiny Pokemon on the road. P.S. It may be the same, there are various theories, but I can't find the exact one. This book assumes that the probability of hatching eggs is higher than that of road flashing. If it is paired with something called Shiny Charm, the probability of hatching flash goes up. Therefore, many players will flash their favorite Pokemon with nothing to do every day after the game is cleared. Some people specialize in quasi-god flash, while others like to brush handsome and beautiful Pokemon such as Riolu and Ralts, or even get ready to flash a full Pokédex flash. Pokemon is a collection and development game that makes them understand it. Nanfeng naturally also entered the pit, but after brushing 20 boxes of Dratini eggs without a single flash, he decided to give up. One box in the game is 60 eggs, and 20 boxes are 1,200 eggs. Pokemon, with 1,200 eggs without flash, Nanfeng felt that he should be of African descent. But as soon as you go to the Tieba, the big hands in the Tieba will often have hundreds of boxes without flash, and it will take 7 or 8 months for one brush. It is really hard for Nanfeng to believe that there is such a persevering trainer. So, they don't have to go to work? Of course, in addition to non-Emirates, there are also European emperors, such as a box of 6V Riolu and a half box of 5V Ralts. This kind of European emperor must be obtained and executed by everyone. The ancestral tombs are no longer as simple as the blue smoke. Is this a crematorium built on the ancestral tombs? Jealousy makes me unrecognizable. JPG Nanfeng was stimulated at the beginning, and he continued to brush 100 boxes out of his capacity, and only then did he recognize the face of his non-chief. No, another 100 boxes tonight. Advertisement: my luck in the past life was so bad. What about my luck in this life? Nanfeng suddenly thought about the topic of destiny. Logically speaking, if you have encountered such a thing as time travel, your luck must be very good. And there's also Ralts and Makahita. There are various indications that I am a European emperor in this life. If there is a chance, I will buy another 100 boxes of Dratini, and one flash Dratini from high to low. Nanfeng hummed. Time flies. 3 hours later, Nanfeng had just defeated an errand. He controlled the protagonist to run a few steps forward. The screen of the handheld changed, and a Pokemon egg appeared. Are you going to hatch? It seems to be really related to the number of steps. Boom, cracks appeared on the Pokemon egg with colorful round spots. In the next second, a dog's head broke the Pokemon egg. Sneak observation.jpg when all the eggshells were broken. A white-haired dog that walked upright was revealed, with brown ears and a tail with a pigment like green at the end. This is a Smeargle. Not bad luck, Nanfeng muttered. Smeargle is a very rare Pokemon that rivals quasi-gods in real-world rarity. But because its strength is too low, no one will cultivate them for battle. The trainers who raised Smeargle were mostly artists. Because Smeargle was born to paint, the tail is its paintbrush, and the green paint at the end of the tail changes according to its mood. Often creates stunning paintings. Many foreign oil paintings worth tens of millions are from the hands of Smeargle. In the field of painting, Smeargle is the existence of the legendary Pokemon. However, Nanfeng took a fancy to Smeargle not because of its ability to draw, but because of its very special sketch skills. Sketch. Permanently replace sketch with the last move the target used. This makes Smeargle a great tool guy. Pet catching tool Smeargle with moves. False swipe plus mean look plus spore plus soak. There's no way a Pokemon will run away once I touch it. Advertisement vehicle Smeargle combination. Fly plus surf plus teleport plus dig Smeargle. My dog is the Army, Navy, and Air Force. And in theory, even if the legendary Pokemon uses an exclusive skill in front of it, it can convert the opponent's skill into its own permanent skill. It can be done in the game of the previous life. Nanfeng has also played this kind of flower work. Combinations. V-Create plus Doom Desire plus Fusion Bolt plus Fusion Flare. I just don't know if this world can do that. After all, the power of the legendary Pokemon's exclusive skills is not just a numerical value reflected in the game data. Pokemon in the previous life game could only have 4 moves, but now they can be matched with unlimited moves, which saves me the trouble of adding a few more Smeargles. Wait. Nanfeng suddenly sat up from the bed. Smeargle's sketch skill can write almost all Pokemon skills as his own skills, and there is no limit to the skill bar. Doesn't that mean it could possibly master all Pokemon skills? Master all skills? This is probably the ability that Arceus can possess after collecting 18 slates. What Eevee's nickname is Little Arceus. Arceus was later known as Smeargle. Without Slate, Arceus is nothing. However, Nanfeng quickly came back to his senses and dispelled his stupid idea. Smeargle does have God's power, but it doesn't have God's body. In the game, Smeargle's species strength is only 250 points. What's the concept? Torchic without evolution is 60 points higher than it. One can imagine how low its strength is. Forget it. Let's take the pure auxiliary route. Nanfeng felt that even the tactic of fighting drugs and defending was a bit boring, and it was impossible for him to practice it to level 100 like in the game. Focus on being a toolman. Pacobi will be, but not now. 47. When the hatching picture is over, Nanfeng opens Smeargle's individual value panel to see that if the individual value is not good, he will choose to brush it later. Smeargle, normal, grade 1 ability. Unstable mood, at the end of each round, one of attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed is randomly increased by 2 levels, and the other random is decreased by 1 level. Individual values. Stamina, 25. Attack, 31. Special attack, 31. Defense, 21. Special defense, 17. Speed, 31. Skill. Sketch. Carrying items. None 3v of attack. Special attack plus speed. It's okay. Nanfeng judged. Smeargle is already qualified to be an assistant. Although its ability, unstable mood, tells everyone that it has a heart that wants to keep records. The Pokeball with Smeargle immediately fell in front of Nanfeng. Release it. Wang Wu, Smeargle tilted his head and looked at Nanfeng with blinking eyes. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and before Nanfeng greeted it, Smeargle rushed towards Nanfeng with his tail in hand. Nanfeng thought that this Smeargle had a clingy personality and wanted to give his master a big hug. As soon as he stretched out his hand, he saw Smeargle jumped on his shoulders, stepped on, jumped, and crossed. Nanfeng came to a white wall and used his tail as a paintbrush. One wave. A green slash suddenly appeared on the white wall. And this is just the beginning. Smeargle seems to be inspired to start his own painting time. It's just that in the eyes of its owner Nanfeng, this kid doesn't even count as graffiti, he's just doing graffiti. Maybe you don't understand the shocking art of it. Advertisement silently took out the white paint and white paper ordered by the mobile phone, and after it had played enough, painted the wall back, and the white paper was for it to paint later. Then call the counselor Tang Zhihui. Counselor, my Pokemon eggs hatched, Nanfeng said. What? The Pokemon egg you got in the morning hatched at noon? Did you cook it on the pot? Tang Zhihui's surprised voice came from the other end of the phone. Can raising the temperature speed up its incubation? Nanfeng wondered. Not this is impossible. Nanfeng remembers that Pokemon has abilities such as Flame Body and Lava Armor, which can speed up the hatching of Pokemon. If you want to try Egg Flash in the future, it is best to get a Pokemon with the Flame Body ability first. Of course it's impossible. Forget it. Take it to the breeding hut now. Let's take a walk then, just in time for lunch. Nanfeng put down the phone and let Smeargle play for a while before taking out the Pokeball and taking it back. Then ride a Sonic bike to the breeding hut. This bike was given by the owner of the bike shop next door to the Malville gym. Of course, it's just called a Sonic bike, not really capable of reaching the speed of sound. Even if he could reach the speed of sound, he would have to step on the pedals to the point of burning fire. When I came to the breeding hut, there was no one at the door, and there were only a few seniors from the breeding hut coming and going. Counselor Tang Zhihui and a senior waited for Nanfeng at the door. Here. Tang Zhihui greeted Nanfeng to come in. Let's take a look at the newly hatched Pokemon. Nanfeng released Smeargle from the Pokeball. As soon as it landed, the boy was already looking around for a wall that could be used for it to swipe ink. It's a pity that it hasn't been found yet, and Tang Zhihui and senior sister have surrounded it one after the other. It's Smeargle. You're lucky. I wanted to capture a Smeargle for my sister to paint with her, but I searched for it in the mountains for half a month and didn't come across it. The senior squatted in front of Smeargle excitedly and reached out, touched the hair on its body. Advertisement, Wang Wu. Smeargle was a little unhappy, but seeing that the owner had no objection, he could only accept his fate. How is it? Tang Zhihui asked. The skin is very tender and the fluff is very thin. It is indeed a newly born Pokemon. The senior sister made the final conclusion, and by the way gave Nanfeng some reminders. It's best to only give it a drink within the first 3 days of birth. Milk, just moo milk. Didn't you say that this batch of Pokemon eggs will take about 7 days to hatch? Even if you speed it up, it will take 4 or 5 days. Why did this Pokemon egg hatch in half a day? There will always be a few fish that slip through the net. We can't control when the Pokemon eggs hatch. Maybe this Smeargle can't wait to see the outside world. Tang Zhihui was helpless. Hey, I originally wanted to use Pokemon props to stimulate their enthusiasm for learning how to hatch Pokemon eggs. Now that's it. The enthusiasm is gone. Looking at Nanfeng again. The Smeargle you hatched is a normal Pokemon. Wait. I'll send you a silk scarf tomorrow. Thank you, Counselor. Nanfeng quickly thanked him. Why don't he give away the free money? I don't know what the second stage of military training is. The second stage of the military training is to go to the trial island to train with the battle department. Nanfeng's face froze suddenly. Then if I haven't hatched, I don't want the reward. The latest task is to hatch Pokemon. I have already hatched Pokemon, and I can stay in the dormitory for 7 days as an otaku. Why go to the trial island to participate in military training? Don't worry. Although we went to the island with the battle department, after all, we are the breeding department, and the content of the military training is only to collect tree fruits, Number 3 Trial Island has picked a lot of fruit. In addition to delivering the designated fruit, you can also collect some fruit to feed Pokemon. In addition, there are enough fruit to complete the collection goal. When the military training is over, I will also reward the first place with a Pokemon item. Tang Zhihui Captivate said. Is it a treasure-level Pokemon item? Nan Feng asked. Tang Zhihui rolled her eyes. You really dare to think. What do you say? Forget it, I just got a quest from Professor Lin. But I still don't want to go. Nan Feng didn't even think about it. He turned his head and left. He didn't care about ordinary Pokemon items. Nan Feng used Lin Jian as an excuse, and Tang Zhihui could only watch him leave. After having a meal in the school cafeteria, Nan Feng returned to the dormitory, put on the tablet to watch TV series, picked up the handheld, and started to flash. 48. In 7 days, the number of nosepass in Professor Birch's ranch had reached 256. Aaron reached a dreadful 1,300. They are almost piled up into a magnetic mountain and an Orberg mine. All the electrical appliances in the house have been destroyed, and I have to go to the mountain to mine and feed them. Sitting at the gate of the ranch after lighting a cigarette, Professor Birch felt that he had brought Nan Feng into the world of Pokemon only because his brain had been flooded. Nan Feng didn't want to, but the problem was that Flash didn't come out. There really wasn't one. Even Zubat, Geodude, and the like. These more than 1,300 errands were easily captured by Nan Feng and prepared to use them to hatch eggs. Nan Feng is now convinced that he was lucky enough to get Flash Ralts and Flash Makahita. Go to jail. Nan Feng sighed, picked up his phone and glanced at the bank account balance. Balance of Agricultural Bank, 0.3 yuan, 23.42 million. Now only this dull and tedious number can soothe my wounded heart. In the past 7 days, Nan Feng has not caught shiny Pokemon. Other harvests are still good. The stolen Pokemon items sold for more than 20 million, and 2 treasure-level Pokemon items were actually stolen. They are the Heartstone with a 23% increase and the Black Belt with a 25% increase. They give Pokemon's Rock-type moves and Fighting-type moves a permanent power boost of 3% and 5%, respectively. The Heartstone is reserved for the future Flash Aaron, and the Black Belt goes directly to Combuskin. Compared to Makahita, Combuskin is the fighting Pokemon he wants to cultivate. In 7 days, the Pokemons have also risen several levels. Makahita is level 23, Combuskin and Kirlia are level 26. Frogadier is slightly higher to level 28. This is because it is the first to use thief skills to make money, and other Pokemon levels are upgraded through EXP share. Smeargle was just a fight, and was brought to level 17 by Frogadier. Everyone, gather for a fight, Nan Feng called out loudly when he put down the handheld. Frogadier, who was taking a bath in the yard pool, used his hind legs and his body jumped to the railing of the balcony on the 2nd floor. Beside him was Combuskin, who was sweating all over. The recent hard training has made him improve his skills a lot. Advertisement Kirlia has been sitting opposite Nan Feng, occasionally calm-minded, and occasionally watching dramas with Nan Feng. Makuhita finally arrived late, with Smeargle standing on his shoulders and swaying when he walked, giving Nan Feng the illusion that the whole house was shaking. Don't go up to the 2nd floor after you evolve, Nan Feng urged. He was really afraid that Makahita would fall and the floor would collapse. Muka, greater than over equal to less than over equal to. Ignoring Makahita's fake crying, put all the Pokemon back in the Pokeball. Nan Feng got on the Sonic bike and rode to the battle area. Today is the delivery day for Lin Jian, but before that, Nan Feng has one more thing to do, and that is to participate in the new military training competition. The new military training lasts for 15 days. The first 3 days are the registration time, and the next 12 days are the official competition time. There are more than 300 trainers who signed up for the competition this time. Most of them are from the battle department, and it is estimated that less than 30 freshmen from the breeding department signed up. In 12 days, after 6 days of audition, the top 64 were screened, then 1 round of knockout rounds a day, and the last day was the final. Today is Nan Feng's first audition. Drifted around the corner, and then stopped steadily at the parking booth in the battle area. The battle area is now overcrowded. Each of the 40 opposing battlefields was packed. Not only freshmen, but some senior sophomores will also come to watch the game. As for whether they come to see Pokemon, or come to see juniors or juniors, it is not certain. Number 24 Battlefield, Nan Feng found his battlefield based on the number on the text message on his mobile phone. Exactly 5 minutes before the start of his game. Walking into the venue, there was already a young man in a blue jacket standing on the rival seat. His name was Nan Feng I had seen in the text message, and his name was Xiao Dong. Nan Feng handed his student ID to the examiner, and then went to the opponent's seat to wait for the game to start. Nanfeng, come on. Li Xiaoyu's voice came from the side. Nanfeng nodded to her and saw her as soon as he came in, next to Minro and Yijun Lang, who had a relationship before. Advertisement opposite. Xiaodong is also looking at Nanfeng. Heh, other than being taller, handsome, and richer than me, what else is better than me? How could Xiaoyu like this kind of boy? Li Xiaoyu is such a bold and hot beauty that she can take military training to show her charm at a glance. There was even a good person on the campus online who made a list of freshman beauties. Before being blocked, Li Xiaoyu was ranked second. Therefore, there are countless admirers, including senior, a sophomore, and junior. As Li Xiaoyu's classmate, Xiaodong is also one of her suitors. The companions in the same group complained silently in their hearts. You should ask yourself what is better than him. He couldn't help poking his lungs. But Li Xiaoyu once said in public that he wanted to see Nanfeng's big baby. Xiaodong's face stiffened. Big baby? Is that kind of big baby? So what? The big baby can't be a Pokemon. Oh, the little friends, oh, made Xiaodong's anger suddenly burst out with a bass. Without waiting for him to speak, the little friend continued. This is a good opportunity. Li Xiaoyu is on the scene now. If you want to pursue Li Xiaoyu, nothing can attract her attention more than winning. But let me remind you, Nanfeng got full marks in actual combat in the entrance exam. So please give it a shot if you recognize Drew. You don't need to tell me, I will be serious. I must win this game, and I must win cleanly and beautifully, not only for Li Xiaoyu, but also for myself. Xiaodong snorted twice, again in his heart added a sentence. I am from the battle department. If I lose to the breeding department, I will lose my face. If it was said that before the military training exam, the students of the breeding department and the combat department were still able to play a 3/7, it can only be 19 now. Even 19 Kai looks a little high on the breeding department. After all, the breeding department and the combat department themselves have different priorities when they enter the school. What's more, this week's field battle has greatly increased the strength of the students of the battle department. It's like an art student and a sports student PK running. Xiaodong, the advantage is mine. Dratini 20 boxes of GG. I'll never hatch Dratini again. I'm going to hatch Ralts. 3 shifts a day for the next 3 days. If you have to go out, you have to save the manuscript and people will have to pass it. 49. 5 minutes passed quickly, and the referee confirmed that the two sides were in place and began to read the rules of the game. Now is the Qintang University Freshman Military Training Competition audition. Trainer Nanfeng will play against trainer Xiaodong. There is only one Pokemon available on both sides. When one side's Pokemon loses the ability to fight, the battle is over. Now, please release Pokemon from both trainers at the same time. Nanfeng and Xiaodong stared at each other, lock on rival, and at the same time took off the Pokemon from their waist and threw it at soaring in the sky. When the silver light burst, 2 Pokemon landed. The Pokemon sent by Xiaodong is Krogunk, a purple frog that looks silly and walks upright. The scene in the anime where Poison Jab numbs Xiaojing and drags him away is impressive. The Pokemon sent by Nanfeng is Makahita. He thinks that the audition is just an audition, and he does not need to send his main force to appear. Nice. I have the advantage. Seeing rival, Xiaodong clenched his fists excitedly. Krogunk is the poison type, while Makahita is the fighting type. Poison-type moves cannot cause double damage to fighting-type moves, but poison-type Pokemon are resistant to fighting-type moves, which is considered restraint, meaning he will have the upper hand from the start. Oh! Suddenly, an exclamation from the surrounding audience interrupted his joy. Red gloves, red cheeks, red bib, this Makahita is a shiny Pokemon. Some people in the crowd exclaimed in surprise. For a while, more people noticed the difference of Nanfeng's Makahita, especially Li Xiaoyu in the crowd. Her beautiful eyes widened. What's the matter with this guy? In addition to Flash Ralts, he has conquered Flash Makahita. How can he have such good luck? Shiny Pokemon, strong or weak, will always be the focus of Pokemon. It's like a group of plaid shirt work clothes mixed in with a JK. You don't care if the fabric is good or not, it's just different anyway. Xiaodong also drooled at Flash Makahita. This sexy red attracts red cheeks, and those huge fists must hurt. Advertisement, but he quickly came to his senses. He was playing against Nanfeng. How could he be optimistic about rivals' Pokemon? What about shiny Pokemon? Shiny Pokemon is not necessarily strong. Watch me blow you up. The referee confirmed that the two sides were in place, raised the flag in his hand, and then waved. Battle begins. Krogunk, use Poison Barb. Makahita, fake out. Nanfeng and Xiaodong issued an attack order at the same time. Krogunk opened his mouth and spewed a stream of purple-stained poison barb at Makuhita. The standard way of playing poison-type Pokemon is to start poisoning rival with contest condition. So even in the wild, poison-type Pokemon are often the group that trainers don't want to provoke. The Poison Barb move has a pretty good poison rate. Makuhita, who opened Fake Out, did not dodge or evade, and forcibly took the Poison Barb with his own body. However, the Poison Barb stuck on it did not seem to have an immediate effect, and the body color remained the same, indicating that Makuhita did not fall into the poisoning contest condition. You're lucky. Seeing that Poison Barb's poisoning effect did not work as expected, Xiaodong snorted lightly and immediately commanded again, "Avoid," then used the hand knife. The rushing Makuhita has come to Krogunk, raised his hand and slapped, although this slap looked more like a fist. Krogunk, who was obviously faster than Makuhita, immediately made a dodge action, and at the same time, his right hand retreated, the faint silver light accumulated, and he was ready to fight back at any time. The attack position had already been selected, which was Makuhita's head. That bun is the same. Head. One hit can definitely cause huge damage. Snapped. The slow Makuhita suddenly seemed to have the rocket's thrusters, and the speed of his body suddenly increased several times. A second ago, the Scarlet Fist was clearly a meter away from Krogunk, but a second later, it suddenly appeared in Krogunk's face. Krogunk was completely caught off guard by Makuhita's instant shift, and he was hit with a Fake Out from Makuhita's front face, and his entire body was blasted out, spinning like a bamboo dragonfly in midair for several laps before landing. Boom. It slid about 2 meters before stopping. What's going on here? Xiaodong looked at the scene in front of him in astonishment. He just saw that Krogunk easily dodged. How could Makuhita break out at such a speed in an instant? He couldn't figure it out. Advertisement can't figure it out. If Nanfeng didn't have the breeder manual from the owner of the vine tree, he would not have thought of letting Makuhita try to learn Quick Attack. It is said to be Quick Attack, but it is actually more like a combination of Force Palm and Quick Attack. The purpose is to break out a stronger action speed at the moment of closeness, to disrupt the rhythm of rival's reaction, and to make the move that should be dodged hit. Just like the original Frogadier Cut plus Quick Attack plus Cut, 2 seconds in an instant. As for Xiaodong just now, did you think I was lucky? You are lucky. Makuhita's ability is Perseverance. Perseverance. When the Pokemon of this ability is in a status condition other than dying, its attack is increased by 50%, and the attack that ignores the burn becomes the original 50% effect. Makuhita, who has terrorist attack power in itself, adds 50% attack due to poisoning. So I'm sorry, this blow Fake Out will be able to send your Krogunk away. However, it is the same now. After a Fake Out, Krogunk is now in the cringe contest condition. Makuhita, end it. Arm thrust. Nanfeng raised his hand and drank. Muga, chubby grinned, and in Krogunk's eyes, his simple and honest face seemed like a demon was grinning wildly. Not to mention resistance, if it can move now, it can be regarded as breaking the limit of the frog's body. Makuhita strode up to Krogunk, who remained motionless no matter what Xiaodong commanded. When he raised his hand, the 2 crimson gloves immediately turned into red phantoms. The fist fell on Krogunk crazily like raindrops. In 5 seconds, the punch is completed, and the frog falls. The battle is over. Krogunk lost his ability to fight. Makuhita won. So the final winner is trainer Nanfeng. The referee announced the final result immediately. At the request of readers, I will try to post pictures later. 50. Flash Makuhita is so strong. But is that speed just now something Makuhita can have? Maybe. That's what makes Flash Makuhita special? The battle between Nanfeng and Xiaodong has ended, and for the surrounding audience, their discussion has just begun. The speed Makuhita showed in the battle just now, the uniqueness of shiny Pokemon itself, and Xiaodong's astonished and dazed expression after the defeat were all they talked about after dinner. Not surprisingly, today's campus network's estimate will cause some waves because of Nanfeng. However, Nanfeng left the battlefield immediately after the battle. Riding a Sonic bike all the way, this was to avoid the classmates who wanted to come up and take a photo with Flash Makuhita, and by the way, Li Xiaoyu also avoided. Where are you? Why are you leaving in such a hurry? Li Xiaoyu called. I have something to do. I'm going outside the school, Nanfeng replied. Well then, remember to tell me when you come back. I haven't seen the big baby for several days, and I still think about it. Okay, Nanfeng agreed casually, and had already left the school gate on a Sonic bicycle. Just as he was about to cross the sea crossing bridge, he suddenly saw a familiar pair. It was a delibird standing on the railing of the bridge across the sea with a togepi on its head. This combination seems to have been seen before. Just grumble, greater than over equal to less than over equal to. Togepi waved his small hand towards Nanfeng and greeted him familiarly. I remember. Nanfeng remembered that the potato and beef brisket rice that he often ordered when he was in Anqing was delivered by them, and this delibird almost handed him present. Why are you here? Nanfeng stopped the car and took out the poke block that Curlia often eats from his pocket and handed it to Togepi. Chucky Porcupine, Togepi immediately hugged Pokeblock and ate happily, but when Delibird under him saw Nanfeng, he burst into tears. Holding Nanfeng's arm, he snotted and cried for a long time. Advertisement, but how can I understand the language of Pokemon? I don't have the power of Evergreen. Nanfeng was speechless and could only hand 2 Pokeblocks to Delibird silently. Sniff. Delibird stopped crying when he smelled the delicious smell, let go of Nanfeng's hand, hugged the Pokeblock, and took a big bite. It can be seen that they are both hungry for a while. Could it be that the two of you got lost here? Nanfeng couldn't help but ask, although he thought the possibility was very low, because it would take more than an hour to travel from Anqing to Qiantang, even by train. Togepi buried his head silently. I'm just a baby. The baby doesn't know anything. Delibird blushed and scratched his head embarrassedly, but nodded in recognition. Get lost while delivering food? Delibird nodded again, then took out a ball of light from his small white bag, hurriedly stuffed it back, and after a while, took out a box of beef brisket rice and handed it to Nanfeng. The meal is already cold. Okay, wait a minute. I'll help you contact your owner. Nanfeng took out his mobile phone and found the number of the potato and beef brisket rice that he often eats in Anqing on the takeaway app. Hey, hello. Is this Anqing's Bingbing potato and beef brisket rice? Your deliverman got lost and has come to Qiantang. Takeaway? We don't have a deliverman in our house. We all deliver the goods in a unified manner. The clerk on the other end of the phone looked inexplicable. Huh, no takeaway? Nanfeng thought he made a mistake, glanced at the store and the number. It was indeed the one he ordered last time, Delibird. The one delivered with Togepi. Oh, you said that Delibird doesn't belong to our family. It seems to be wild. Our boss saw it was pitiful and let it work in our store. 2 days ago, it didn't come back after delivering takeout in the evening. So our boss is worried about what happened to it. I didn't expect to go to Qiantang. If you come across it, then you should tell it. Come back when you have time, and half a month's salary has not been paid to it. After listening to a lot of talk from the clerk, Nanfeng realized that these 2 little guys are wild Pokemon. I saw them delivering food before, and thought they were the Pokemon of the owner of the potato and beef brisket rice. Wild Pokemon words. What are the plans for the 2 of you in the future? Nanfeng asked Delibird. Advertisement. Delibird was a little dazed. He used to deliver food well in Anqing, but who knew he lost his way and sent it here? Would you like to be my Pokemon? Nanfeng took out 2 Pokeballs and put them in front of them. He didn't want Breeder, a Delibird, and Togepi to fight, but he felt that he had a good relationship with them and kept them by his side. Not bad either. Especially this Togepi. I can see the cute Pokemon, and my mood will be better because of this. Delibird glanced at Togepi on his head and shook his head silently. Then, shall I buy 2 train tickets to send you back to Anqing? Nanfeng did not insist. Delibird thought for a while, looked at Qiantang several times more prosperous than Anqing in the distance, and shook his head. It can be seen that it wants to start a new life in Qiantang. However, it doesn't seem like he's made up his mind about what to do. Well, do you want me to find a job for you? It's the same food delivery service as before, and the delivery range is relatively small, so you won't get lost. Nanfeng remembered seeing it when he was eating in the cafeteria yesterday. The braised chicken rice on the 2nd floor of the cafeteria is looking for takeaways. The demands of delivery workers are not limited to humans. In today's society, it is not uncommon for Pokemon to go out to work, to deliver food at the school, except for the sea crossing bridge that leaves the school at the entrance, surrounded by the sea. It is impossible to get lost again, right? Delibird used its walnut-sized brain to think for a long time before finally agreeing. To express its gratitude, it reached into its white cloth bag and took out a colored ball of light. Put it back. Nanfeng snorted softly. Delibird shoved it back and silently, grimacing. Don't. My present doesn't explode every time. However, before I introduce you to work, I have to go out and do some errands. Would you like to go with me? By the way, I can also invite you to lunch.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.